Oh, welcome to the Sharpe Way Show. So happy to have you with me this evening, a little bit past 7 p.m. on the East Coast, and I am back yet again. I know some of you thought, Larry, why in the world would you be back again after a 4-hour show last night that went to midnight? Because I'm insane. Could be the reason. Something like that. I don't know why. I don't know. I was happy with yesterday's show. I know it was long, and some of you watched the entire thing. Thank you. For those who have not, here's what I can tell you. You will require literally no other viewing of any debate, end shows. I mean, post debate shows. If you just watch the one we did last night, about an hour and a half, give or take, hour 15 after the debate, we covered everything. Everything that everybody said afterwards, we said at that show. Like, it's all there. And a lot of you told me I was wrong. Boy, the pundits seem to think I was right, is all I'm saying. And I said that right after the debate. I said it during the debate. I think we saw what was happening. But I think we'll know for sure. The polling, I don't think any polling will come out probably till after the weekend is my assumption. I'm not sure when it'll come out, but my assumption is either Friday or Monday polling will start coming out. And I think you're going to see a little bit of a bump. It's not a massive bump, to be clear, as I said. You're not going to see a massive bump for Harris, but you'll see a little bit of one. This piece reminded me of something, though. And I want to tell this quick story. If you've ever seen the movie Patton in the 70s with what's that guy? George C. Scott plays Patton in the 70s, that old movie. There's a scene he talks about a battle in Africa. The battle, I think it's called Kasserine Pass. It was one of the first or second times that the Americans had fought the Germans in North Africa after they invaded North Africa. The operation was called Operation Torch. After they attacked and got in, Patton won the battle against Rommel. For those who don't know, Rommel was arguably one of the best, if not the best, German general of World War II. Definitely one of them. He wrote the book Attacks, all about his fighting in World War I. He was a general in World War II. And people said, well, how could you beat Rommel? Oh my God, why'd you beat Rommel? And his response was, because I read his books. He had written Attacks in like 1920. So he had read his books, and Patton had read those books when he was, an Army officer. So it was like, oh my God, that's why you beat him. It then goes on to a friend of mine. This is similar, but a little bit different. We used to war game a lot together. He was an Air Force guy. I was a Marine guy. And we used to do a lot of video game war gaming, board game war gaming. And sometimes we'd play games, and I would all of a sudden figure something out or beat him somehow. And people would say, wait a minute, how did you know that? And I would say, well, because I know him. Like, I know him. I know the general I'm sitting across from, and I would be able to act accordingly. Similarly, reminds me of Miyamoto Musashi. Where am I going with this? You'll see. All right, yes. Miyamoto Musashi. Miyamoto Musashi was one of the greatest Japanese swordsmen of all times, real person, books written about him and such. One of the ways that he was able to beat his opponent was because he would psych his opponent out. He knew his opponent. Why do I bring all of this up? Because that is what the Harris team did with Trump. They knew who he was. They had seen him. And people took the idea that he had been in 7 debates as an advantage to Trump. Her team took it as advantage Harris, because Harris hadn't been in those debates before. She had been in like the massive 17 people debate, but she'd never been in this one-on-one type thing in this situation. So he didn't know what she was. And if I remember when she did an interview, I said, maybe they're playing some 4D chess. Remember that? Those of you who watched that my response to her interview. And she's trying to be because you're going to spend the next several weeks prepping for this debate, which is the biggest piece. And that's what happened. Harris is not a great debater. She's not, right? Harris is not a great debater, but she prepped enough. And sometimes you can out-hustle your opponent. And you've probably seen that before in your life. Some guy was better than you in talent, or some gal was better than you in talent, but you worked harder and you won, or the reverse, right? You were better and you lost because they worked harder, or something like that. That's what happened last night. The Harris team worked harder. No one else paid attention. And here's how you'll know, because Joel brings up everyone saying my guy won, your guy lost as expected. No, listen. Now you'll know who the partisans are. right? Now you'll know who the partisans are. The partisans will make sure that they say everything both good. They'll say everything powerful about the enemy, but they will give them all the negative traits. So they'll say, yeah, she's an idiot, but she worked, but yeah, but her people are smart. Oh, she's an idiot, but she's going to take over the world. What? And it's all nothing but bad, nothing but evil, and every excuse. Right? Nothing but bad, nothing but evil, and every excuse. That's a partisan. So if someone just goes, well, no, and of course you fight the moderators. Look, the moderators were bad. I get it. And I'm saying this to be forward with you. I've taken I have taken my share of ass whippings. I have. And of course it doesn't feel good. And of course people try to tell me, Larry, don't worry, and they make excuses to make me feel good. And to be forward, the cope does feel good. Copium is delicious for a reason, right? Copium is delicious. I get it. It does make me feel good when someone goes, Larry, it wasn't your fault. It's because this, it's because that, right? It does make me feel better. Of course it does. But it's not helpful, right? Because I still have to take responsibility for the loss and then fix it. So does Trump. This is the problem that I think you're going to have with Trump right now. If he doesn't take responsibility for this, it is going to hurt him. Now, maybe publicly he won't. I don't know. Who knows? But he's got inside say, yeah, stuff isn't going well. Let me give you some examples of a couple of things if I could. This is an example of from the debates, from the polling from CNN. I'll cover a couple different sides. It won't just be like just CNN, but this will just be one of them real fast. And you'll see what I'm talking about, what CNN said. This is last night, right after the polling. Here we go.
Obviously, but it's not that partisanly, in a partisan way, different than what we see broadly among registered voters. This is really interesting. Among the candidates' favorable and unfavorable ratings,
there we go.
Take a look here at what we found. Before the debate, Harris's favorable.
Now, you might say this is a massive change. It isn't. It's a change, but it's not massive, right? This is not a, oh my God, now Harris is going to win. I know if you are a Harris supporter, you might be telling yourself that, but please don't fool yourself. This does not mean Harris is going to win. It means there was a bump. And we go, Larry, that's 6 points. Look at the margin of error. The margin of error is plus or minus 5. So this was a small bump. She got exactly what I was talking about. She got a small bump up. That's it. It wasn't like all of a sudden, all the Trump supporters said, oh my God, I was wrong about Trump. We're voting Harris. That's not what happened. But were there some people who were like, here's the reality. Here's another disadvantage that Trump has, and people don't see this. They see the experience as only a benefit. It isn't. Most people already know Trump very well. Like they saw him at The Apprentice. They saw him on TV. They saw him as president. They saw him, right? They see him all the time. They have a clue on who he is, and many of them had made decisions on him already. But to be forward, still, if you're a guy like me who's into this, I know Harris very well, so I can predict her relatively well. So I can predict him relatively well because I've been paying attention for years. The average American's living their life. They don't watch me. They don't do all this stuff, right? So what that means is for many people, this was kind of like the first real time they got to see Harris as anything presidential at all, like the only time. And what also happens is all of America already knows Trump as being president, as being the apprentice, as being, mogul. They know him as that already. Her being on the stage and holding her own, even if not victorious, she was victorious, but even if she wasn't, does give her some gravitas that for a small chunk of America, she didn't have. Now, a lot of you who watch this go, Larry, come on, everyone knows Harris. Not everyone does. And the problem is, if you already know her and Trump, you've made your decision already. You made your decision already, right? That's the issue. Ryan says, nobody scored a knockout blow. Yes, I think that's accurate. This was not a knockout. She won the debate clearly, but it was by decision. She didn't knock Trump out. She won by decision. That's how she won. And which is, look, it's a win. Fine, take the win, take the points. Why? Because in this race, as you guys all know, this could be grossly close, so close. And that 1% change could be the game.
Rating was at 39%. After the debate, among these debate watchers, her favorability rating went up 6 points to 45%. Donald Trump actually ticked down 2 points among these debate watchers from 41% favorable to 39% favorable. That's about roughly the same. That's not a 2% tick down there is not huge. But I do want to note, Kamala Harris's uptick driven a lot by independent voters. She was
That's the issue.
minus 17.
Now, where are these independent voters? And this is the part that I bring up, which really does bother me here, right? And that is Trump did not bring up any of his team. And his team is where a lot of the independents were. That's the piece where he screwed up. This is where Trump screwed up, right? Harris says, all your people hate you. You're a bad guy. Remember that? She said that. Here's the list of insults, blah, 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 right? Whatever. So what then happens now? Well, Trump doesn't go, well, have you seen my cool team now? I got Tulsi. I got RFK Jr. I got Vivek. I got Elon. I got these people. No, he went, they were all chumps. They were all bad people. And that hurt him because there were a lot of people who love Bobby Kennedy Jr., who love Tulsi Gabbard, who love Elon Musk, who love Vivek, who was sitting there going, say my guy's name. Say my guy's name. And he didn't. And many of them feel betrayed. Now, I know some of you don't like to hear that. I'm telling you the truth. So what does Trump have to do? Here's the reality of what Trump has to do versus what Harris has to do. Harris has to try her best to soak this up like there's no tomorrow and enjoy every goddamn minute of it. That's what she has to do, right? That's what she has to do. And she has to make a big deal out of this. Nancy says, someone said this whole debate will fade away and become meaningless. I agree. Not if Harris takes about $100 million and does nothing but do commercials on this, which is what she should be doing. I'm telling you the truth. If Harris has not, none of them call me they should just call me and I'll put them over the top, right? She should be taking all the chunks, particularly if him going to dogs, people with that thing that he took, that every bait she gave him that he took, she should be that commercial for the next 8 weeks, $100 million more, so that no one forgets it, Nancy. That's what she should be doing. I don't know if they will. They're talking about having a debate. I don't know why. I would have no debate. If I'm Harris's campaign manager, go back in the basement. We're going to play we're going to do the Biden campaign. We're campaigning from the basement again. And we're doing these commercials for literally 8 months. That's all we're doing. 8 months. And I mean, sorry, 8 months, 8 weeks. I apologize. We're doing 8 weeks of these commercials. Go back in the basement, follow the Biden rule, do that. Now, if I'm Trump, I'm doing reverse. I'm heading myself in the basement and rethinking myself, right? And I've taken ass whoopings before. And one of the things you do when you take one is you head back and you rethink. And he should send out all his troops. He should have Bobby Kennedy out. He should have Tulsi Gabbard out. Nicole Shanahan out. He should have them all out right now. And as I said last night, which is the best thing to do, is literally tomorrow. Should have done today. Tomorrow, send Tulsi, send Bobby Kennedy Jr., send JD Vance. I don't care who, you pick the person, to some war zone and go solve a war now. Just go do it. Go do it right now. And why is he not on a plane now? They should be on a plane right now doing that. That'll help everyone forget, Nancy, right? Have whoever, Vance or Tulsi. I think Tulsi's the perfect one, right? She talks about anti-war time. I think you send Tulsi to wherever, Ukraine or Gaza or whatever. I don't care. Pick. There's wars all over the place. We got tons of them going on. Pick one, send Tulsi. Go fix it. Here's what I got. And even if she fails, doesn't matter. You do that, I think will change everything. That's what they should be doing now. Now, when it comes to the next, this part just seems insane to me, but I'll try to explain what I think they're seeing. Right now, the Harris team is saying they're happy to do 2 more debates on the debate. That seems insane to me. Why would you think that? Now, unless again it was 4D chess, the Harris team is savvy. They know Trump very well. The second that Trump said, hey, I'm the champ, I won, which is absolutely not true and utter cope. And then he said, and I'm the champ, so why would I want to have a rematch? I don't know if I want to have a rematch because I won. They're like, oh, we'll do it. Thinking maybe he would just say no, because as of about an hour or two ago, Trump said he doesn't want another debate. He's done. Now, how are they spinning that? They're spinning that not as he's the champ, he won. They're spinning it as he's afraid because he got his butt kicked. This is not the right look for Donald Trump. It's a plus he didn't win. Number one, he didn't win. And if his team believes he won, fire your entire team. Fire them today. Like, get rid of them. If they go, you were the best, you have a bunch of sycophants, get rid of them.
More unfavorable than favorable among these debate watchers going into the debate. And independent debate watchers, they were +9 for her favorability coming out of the debate. So a
Plus
big
9
movement
coming out.
change on her favorability.
And because many of these people didn't really know they just thought she was some vice president, whoever. And she looked like, oh, fine. She's hanging out with Trump. She's doing a good job. I guess she's fine. That's what happened.
With independents. Take a look at when we asked debate watchers about
this is my point on why all those things where, even though there was a big push up, not big, there was a big blip, right? Overall, like confidence in candidates isn't great. That's why I think this is not a massive push. This is maybe 1%, 2% blip for her. She has to try to keep this for the next 8 weeks. If she keeps this momentum going, and I'm not saying she can, I'm saying she should keep this momentum for 8 weeks. If she can do that, she can win this thing. She can win it if she can do it. I don't know if she can. Now, does she actually want to do another debate? If she wants another debate, here is what her team is thinking. Her team's thinking, we can't keep this momentum for 8 weeks. Harris is not good enough. We can't keep this for 8 weeks. We'll wind up failing. Trump will wind up beating us. She'll shoot herself in the foot somehow, and we'll wind up losing this thing. Her team might think that. If they believe that, they're going to say another debate, because then that can recharge again, right? She can do debates, and if she does debates, she doesn't have to do any other interviews, which would be a savvy move. If Trump would actually take another debate, and she goes, yeah, we'll take a debate, whatever, 3 weeks, 4 weeks out. And then she does no other interviews. Don't worry, I'll talk about the debate. She can go back to the basement for 4 weeks, right? Saying she's going to debate him again. And then she hopes that her team's good enough to beat Trump again. Now, I don't know if she can beat Trump again. I don't know. I'm not saying she can't. If Trump doesn't learn anything, she'll beat him again. If he is that broken, she'll beat him again. And 2 victories in 4 weeks would mean that she's going to win this election. If that happens, I think that's a roll of the dice. My gut would tell her to not do it. And if I was Trump, I'd be using my team everywhere. Everywhere is what I'd be doing. I don't know. Maybe I'm off on this. Maybe you guys think I'm crazy.
The candidates to lead the.
I want to grab one more if I could. That one I thought was kind of interesting to show you. There's another one I wanted to bring up. That was just showing you the differences in that post. But here is, now that was CNN. Now I'm going more towards a more conservative leaning. This is The Blaze. And this is just one gentleman saying what he thought of it. And he said this, maybe this is early this morning. This came out this morning, if I'm not mistaken. This came out this morning. Let me see if I can grab this. Yeah. And add the audio. And here we go.
Very clear. Let me speak as someone who has been a campaign aide. Let me speak as someone who has done debate prep with the presidential candidate.
I have to.
It is very obvious he did not listen to his debate prep team at all.
Thank you. Thank you. See, it's what I said last night. I said that last night. He agrees. It is obvious. If you're in this world at all, I know most people aren't, right? There are very few people who've done this kind of work in the entire country. I get it. But if you're in this world, it is so screaming obvious that's what happened. I don't know this guy. I do happen to know Glenn Beck, but I don't know this guy. I've never met him before. And he says the same thing I said.
It is very obvious he had no plan at all.
Yep.
It is very obvious he went in there and just thought, I'm going to wing it. That he should have a canned answer. I mean, the idea that they didn't fact check her on what even Snopes and PolitiFact has said is a lie about Charlottesville, but he didn't pull that out, which you said. Instead, he quoted from Fox News hosts, which is actually going to play into her narrative.
Yeah, big time. Okay? Bingo.
The statement that he made in his closing statement should have been the first thing he said, regardless of any question that was asked.
Yes.
And that should have been a repeated theme. Why haven't you done these things over and over and over?
I literally told you guys that last night, didn't I? What he's saying, I don't know him. Like, we didn't coordinate. I don't know this guy, right? And he says the exact same thing. That should have been throughout the entire thing. Why haven't you? Why? And when she goes, and your people suck, whatever. Great. Why didn't you fix it? Well, you're this thing. Great. Why didn't you fix it? Well, here's your plans. Whatever Harris says. Why wasn't Trump going, great? And why didn't you fix it? That's exactly correct.
Over again. He took the bait over and over and over again.
Yep.
Over and over again. It felt like he was running. He was in the White House and we're running on his record and he was defending his record, which is better than theirs. But see, it's a little bit like when I was on the Cruz campaign and we ran against Rubio on immigration. even if Rubio beat us on a talking point in a given news cycle, the issue itself was a loser for him because of the Gang of Eight. He could never outrun that. And so I would always say to the campaign, let's stay on this issue. Let's not get on any other issue, because the issue itself is a loser for Rubio every time it comes up.
Yes. Didn't do any of that. And they just go on. It's long. If you want to watch this one, it's interesting to watch. They just basically say everything I said for like 15 minutes. They're all upset. They're all bothered. They're all mad, of course, at the moderators, which you should be. I don't want to take away that the moderators were bad, but I go back again. That's still your fault. You should know that. Like, you got to know that. I have walked in situations where I've got my ass kicked and people go, man, they were unfair to you. Yeah, but I should have known. And often I did, but I either didn't know what they would do or wasn't prepared for it or any of those things, right? I tried my best. I wasn't good enough. Those things happen sometimes, right? So, but I don't go, well, it was unfair. So I go, shit, I got to fight harder. I got to find another answer, right? There is an interesting piece from a 90s movie. Some of you may know it, called Higher Learning. Lawrence Fishburne is in the movie. And it's about a fictitious college. And in the college, there's a lot of race issues and things like that. And at one point, there's the star of the movie. In the movie, he's a track star, and he races. And he's mad about racism. He's like, oh, racism is bad, blah, blah, blah. And Lawrence Fishburne is the professor. He's talking to him, complaining to him about how it's all racist and stuff. And the system's all against him. And Lawrence Fishburne says, you're a track star, right? I'm going to paraphrase this. The guy's like, yeah, I'm a track star. It's like, okay, let me ask you. You look across the field before you go ahead and make your race, and you look at them and you go, wow, these are good racers. These guys are strong runners. I think they're better than me. Do you just quit? Stop, they're better than me, walk away? He said, no, I'm not going to quit. He said, what do you do? He goes, I just run harder. He said, yeah. Sometimes the deck is stacked against you. And if you're going to walk into ABC News as a conservative, the deck's stacked against you. So either don't walk in that room or go in knowing the deck's stacked against you. When I have gone into situations, I know the deck is stacked against me. Act accordingly or don't go in that room. And the problem is he did neither. He did neither of those two. And we have to accept that as true, realize that, and then shift if he wants to do this, or he can't, or he will fail. That's the issue. He will do it or he will fail. Long term, this can go away. If I'm Harris, I'm not letting it go away. If I'm Trump, I'm acting like it never happened. I am moving. I'm not talking about it. If he's in a campaign trail and starts going, do you see those terrible moderators? If Trump starts doing that, that's a terrible sign. That is Trump has to act like this never happened ever again. Like what debate? So who debated? Somebody debated. I don't know who debated. I have no idea. I don't know who debated. All right, last piece I'll bring up, and then I'll grab some comments and such. Last piece I'll bring up. This is just recently came out. This is from Piers Morgan. And I just give a couple seconds of how this begins, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Did I get that audio and go?
He took the hook, he took the line, he took the sinker, he took the entire frickin' boat.
No, my rallies are bigger than your rallies.
She also had the host on her side.
It was his failure to jump in and get the answers he wanted.
He didn't take the bait while she was sneering and jeering at him.
If we want to go for a round two, I say, as a staunch Trump supporter, bring it on.
That is exactly what it should be saying. If you are a Trump supporter, you should be like, I can't wait for the next one because you got to fix this. If you're a Harris supporter, no, we're good.
Well, Donald Trump and his supporters have rightly complained for weeks that Kamala Harris is dodging questions on her record, her platform, and her litany of U-turns. Last night was a massive opportunity to ask those questions and to land a decisive blow in the race for the White House. But Trump didn't take it. Harris laid out a series of glaring traps for the former president, and like a cartoon mouse distracted by the cheese, he became ensnared by all of them.
Now, the funny part is, Tommy Lerner, who just spoke earlier, she's a Trump supporter. Clearly, she's a Trump supporter. Pierce is kind of a Trump supporter too. He is. Some of you may be unhappy when I say that, but you know he is. They're all unhappy.
Right off the bat, she was asked a simple question about the economy and responded with babble.
When it comes to the economy,
Yes.
do you believe Americans are better off than they were 4 years ago?
So I was raised as a middle-class kid.
That opening right there tells you that this is prepared. This is her. I was raised that means that was a prepared statement that she probably studied and probably has. She's probably given this 2-minute pitch. I'm not joking. Probably 20 times. Probably 20 times she's given that pitch. If I was coaching her, you'd have given that pitch at least 15 times. And I'd have interrupted her. Literally, I'd been like, that's not true. I would have literally, in the prep, I would have openly interrupted her to break her train of thought so she can get right back onto this again. That's one of the things you do when you're doing this. You purposely break their thought. You purposely do this to get them off. You try to get under their skin to stop them so that no matter what happens, they get back on track, back on track, back on track. And this was actually very good.
I am actually the only person on this stage who has a plan that is about lifting up the middle class and working people of America. I believe in the ambition, the aspirations, the dreams of the American people.
Now he goes on to just do
What does
stuff.
any of that really mean?
Nothing.
Trump
of course
didn't capitalize on that word salad. In fact, he allowed Harris to deflect and distract him all night in a way he wouldn't normally allow to happen.
Now, I want to be clear. If someone is telling you Trump won this debate, they are a partisan. And that's okay. There are lots of partisans. I'm just saying, understand that that's where their mind is. That's where their mind is. If someone goes the opposite and goes, oh my God, it's over, Harris is next president, they are also a partisan. The reality of it is, the world is not ending if you're a Trump supporter, but he did lose that debate last night. It is crystal clear. There is no doubt. He lost the debate last night.
When Harris was pressed on the crisis at the border, which should have been a home run for Trump, she snared him with rage bait about his rallies, and it worked.
You will see during the course of his rallies, he talks about fictional characters like Hannibal Lecter. He will talk.
And this was to answer the question about the economy. This was the economy. She did not answer the question at all. He could have come back and said, what about the economy? What happened? Didn't do any of it.
About windmills cause cancer. And what you will also notice is that people start leaving his rallies early out of exhaustion and boredom.
People don't go to her rallies. There's no reason to go. And the people that do go, she's bussing them in and paying them to be there.
And why does it matter? Now, some of you are saying, well, I hated when she was smiling and smirking. It's because she knew she was winning. He was falling into every trap. She knew he was winning. That's why she was doing that.
And then showing them in a different light. So she can't talk about that. People don't leave my rallies. We have the biggest rallies, the most incredible rallies.
Now, how does she know this? Remember, I told you earlier, she's a prosecutor. Her job is to break down witnesses. And she just watched her witness break down. She's like, oh, I won this case. That's why she's so happy.
In the history of politics, that's because people want to take their country back. Our country is being lost. We're a failing nation.
In fishing parlance, Kamala put out the rod and caught a big one. Remember, at that point, they were supposed to be debating Kamala's record on immigration. Instead, she got exactly what she wanted. Trump was visibly irritated and never really got unirritated. Well, today, the big headline on immigration is that Trump repeated a crazy story about Haitian migrants eating cats and dogs.
See, that's, as you just heard me, Nancy, this is why it will never go away. If that is the commercial for the next 8 weeks, this never goes away.
On abortion, where polling shows that Trump is weakest, he ranted about babies being executed after 9 months. Not until the very end of the debate, in his closing statement, did Trump deliver the message he should have been hammering all night.
So she just started by saying she's going to do this, she's going to do that, she's going to do all these wonderful things. Why hasn't she done it?
That would have been, as I told you guys last night, the opening statement if I was coaching him. That's the opening statement. Everything she says, whatever you hear her say, you should ask yourself, why hasn't she already done it? Every policy she brings up, why? You should ask yourself, why hasn't she done it? And then whenever she says whatever, and you go, as I said, why hasn't she done it? And then keep talking. That would have broken her, but no, either his team didn't listen. I'm sorry, either he listened to his team or his team's bad. So he has to open up his own brain and realize you need help. You're just a human being. Learn. That's option one. Or number two, Fire your entire team. This exact same thing happened. If you guys saw me and Mike Voss, we did a breakdown of Trump at the National Association of Black Journalists. My criticism was exactly the same criticism. Exactly the same. It hasn't changed, which means he hasn't changed. Different team, Mr. Trump, or open your brain to criticism and have your people fix you, or you're going to wind up losing this election. Because clearly the Harris team has their stuff together. Harris is not that good. She isn't. I'm not trying to diss her. I'm just being clear. You're him goes, oh, she was brilliant. She's a genius. She's not dumb. The right will tell you she's stupid. She's an idiot. She's a Marxist. She's not. That's partisans. She's none of those things. She's not a Marxist. She's a whateverist. She'll be whatever will get her victory. She's not a Marxist. She's whatever it is. If she's a Marxist, it's today, and then tomorrow she'll be something else. And she's not an idiot. She's not brilliant. She's not some genius, but she's not an idiot either. She's someone who knows, okay, how can I win? And people say, learn this. And she goes, okay. And she learns it. And if he's not going to think, that will be enough. Remember, you don't have to be the best in our system. You just got to be better than the other guy. This is the other guy. If you're better than him, you can win. You don't have to be great. And if this guy's going to shoot himself in the foot, makes your job a whole lot easier. So I wanted to grab that if I could, so you guys could listen to it. And let me give you my last piece before I start grabbing some comments. The piece that matters to me the most about this is, will they debate again? Will they do it again? If Trump doesn't change, he'll lose the next debate too, and that will be the end of him. I'm not joking. And the reason is, but Larry, it's not going to affect all. Yes, it will. It will affect two things. If you look online now, when you hear Tommy Lahren, who's an avid Trump supporter, you hear Piers Morgan, a Trump supporter, you hear all the RFK Jr. and Tulsi fans, if they get disheartened, they will check out. If they check out, whether you like Piers Morgan, whether you like Tommy Lahren, whether you like Glenn Beck and the Blaze, they're all Trump supporters. If they check out, they will not motivate people to vote. And as I've been telling you for the past weeks, this debate is about turnout. That's what matters. Everything else is secondary. There were about 50 million Democrats registered and about 40 million registered Republicans. If 80% of Democrats show up, they win. If only 60% of Democrats show up and 80% of Republicans show up, Republicans win. They win. That's how this is going to be decided. And it's going to be in the swing states. If he loses a second debate, people will not be motivated. You saw a difference. So the difference between Biden and Harris. When Biden was running, the Democrats were disheartened. They weren't showing up. They didn't care. It's over. Don't bother. It's over. Harris showed up. All of a sudden, you literally have a surge. I think it was a million. I think it was a million. I think there were 1 million new registered Democrats when Harris showed up. 1 million new registered Democrats. They went from 49 million to 50 million in like 2 weeks. This is going to be about who shows up. So if I'm Trump, this never happened. This never happened. Send all my surrogates out to get the independent votes back because you pissed them all off last night by ignoring them. Didn't mention Bobby Kennedy Jr., didn't mention Tulsi Gabbard, didn't mention Vivek, didn't mention any of them. And you dissed Vance. He dissed Vance. So he disses one of his surrogates and ignores the rest. And you people going, he wouldn't debate. You are smoking crack. He did not win a debate at all. He has to fix this now. Now, Harris has currently got a bump. Her job, ride this bump all the way for 8 weeks. You do that, you win. You don't ride. If it starts collapsing, they get another debate. Another debate. If I'm Harris, I go to no hostile people. You don't see me on Fox News, The Blaze. I only go to like MSNBC. That's all I was. If I'm booking her, I'm booking her on MSNBC only. Only MSNBC, nothing else. And maybe CNN a little bit, maybe ABC here or there, but basically just MSNBC. That's all I'm putting her on. That's it. And cruise this thing. So is this long term? It depends on how the Harris team does this. Harris has the initiative right now. Will her team make 40,000 commercials about this? I would. That's all I would do. I would take at least $100 million into this for commercials, if not more. That's all I would do. And just watch it. Keep going. Keep it going. And all in swing states. And then the piece where he doesn't say, when he doesn't say that he would When they ask if he would sign an abortion ban, he doesn't give a yes or a no. That's every commercial all day long to get the women out. That's what I would do. He gave Harris tons of ammo. He has to create his own ammo now. Now Trump has to create his own ammo. He's got to get his surrogates out, and he's got to be out there. So, all right, I have yapped away. Let me grab, if I could, a bunch of your comments. I just thought it was kind of cool. So Ingrid Horder says, there needs to be grassroots demonstrations. I don't know what you mean by that. Dallas Looks Maxer says, debate didn't shift the needle. It did, brother. It's obvious. It did, but not by much. But it absolutely did. And the problem is, this isn't like 1992 or 1996. That little 1% could actually change this. 1% could do this. It did. And that's something that a lot of people who support Trump are going, it didn't change anybody's mind. It did. Right? It didn't change anybody's mind in your world, or the partisans were not changed. But there are people who just start paying attention, who just see Harris as somebody, whatever, and then, oh, well, so what, Larry? That's 1%. In this case, 1% could be all that it takes. So that's cope, brother. People's minds were changed. They were shifted. The question is how much, and will it last? Now, if you're saying, Larry, is the needle shifted, and is it, done for the next 8 weeks? Oh, I don't know about that. You may be right in that regard. But as of today, right now, it was. Thank you so much for the $20, Alexa. I appreciate it. I truly wish people would use even just a sliver of a fraction of the common sense found on this site in the chat. I really do. Oh, thank you for that, Alexa. I do. I spend a lot of time doing this live because I want the interaction. I want you guys talking to yourselves. I want it to be a real back and forth, right? A real public square. That's why I try to do it. I know I love to yap, clearly, but I also like the interaction back and forth, which is why you often see me every Monday. I have 3 other people on the show, and we all talk together, all 4 of us, right? We bring them all in, right, to have people talk. And I'll probably do another one next Monday, and maybe even next Tuesday or Wednesday too. Oh, no, week after. I may do that Tuesday or Wednesday. So I try to bring more people onto the show to have more conversations. So yes, thank you for that. I appreciate that. So grab a couple more of these. All righty. Dave says, Libertarian Party of Iowa lost its appeal. New York too. The courts are still trashing us. They still are. We may be going to the Supreme Court. I really hope we're going to go to the Supreme Court. That's our hope for the next step. So yes. Dina says, great commentary, Larry. The only way I could have watched that mess. I was trying to make it fun. I thought nobody would watch it, so I had to make sure, right? That was my reason to watch it. The most important piece, Dina, is I want people to understand that not just politics, but life, all of us, we are both emotional and logical. Every human being is. Now, with that in mind, some of us are more logical than emotional, some more emotional than logical, but we're all both. And sometimes situational things will change. So you might be more emotional with your family and more logical with your business, or the reverse. You might be more strict, care about your family, be more logical to make sure, and then more emotional with some job you happen to love. It could be either. It depends on the person, right? But we're always both. The problem is most of us think, well, no, it doesn't make any sense. Sense isn't the only thing. Emotions don't always make sense. So it has to be both, right? It has to be both. And I try to talk about that, but also something else. People often think politics is about policy. It is, but also not. Remember something. An election is literally a popularity contest. This isn't a popularity contest. Yes, it is. It is literally a popularity contest. I like that guy. Click. Oh, she's nice. Click. Literally a popularity contest. So that part counts. So the Desert Fox. Yes, the anti-corporatist says that was Rommel's nickname, the Desert Fox. Correct. One of the reasons why there was a British general, General Montgomery, who fought him. He was part of the British 8th Army that fought the German Afrika Corps. And one of the reasons why Montgomery was able to win and was a great general. Montgomery was not a great general. I'm not trying to attack him. I'm not, but I'm just saying he was not a great general. What Montgomery had was the intelligence. We had broken the Enigma code by then. So Montgomery knew what Rommel was doing. Well, if I know exactly where you're attacking, I'm a great general too, right? I know where you're attacking. Oh, I'm reading all your messages. Oh, I'm a great general too now. If I know what you're doing and you don't know what I'm doing, I'm also a great general. Without that, Montgomery would have lost in Africa. The Brits would have lost Egypt. And if they would have lost Egypt, it may not have been Operation Torch. Operation Torch is when the Allies, the Americans, landed. For those of you who know World War II, the Americans, of course, came into World War II in late 1941, early 42. And they had been asked, the Brits and the Russians were begging for a second front because the Germans were spending over 2/3 of their military in Russia. And the Russians were getting their ass kicked. And they were like, we need help. Open the front somewhere. But the only on the front they had was Africa. And the Brits were trying their best to fight in Africa. And they were doing their best to fight in Egypt. They were fighting heavily in Egypt and Libya, in those areas, Tobruk, El Aliman, those areas. They were fighting there. And so the Vichy French had controlled other parts of Northern Africa, who officially the Vichy French were allies of the Germans after the Germans had beaten them in 1940. So the Americans were like, what are we going to do? And they were like, invade France. The Americans were like, we can't invade France. That's a massive assault. We can't do it. So they agreed to invade North Africa. The Americans were fighting mostly the Japanese in the Pacific early on because literally the Japanese were conquering everything. They were conquering the Philippines. They were conquering all of our islands out there, the Marshall Islands, everything. So we were looking at that. And the Japanese bombed us. By the way, here's a trivia question for you. When did America declare war on Germany? We didn't. You don't know that. It's true. We didn't. Germany declared war on us. Newt Gingrich wrote a book called 1945 all about that. The Germans did not declare war. We did not declare war on Germany. If you remember that saying, FDR says, I asked what did he say? December 7th, a day that will live in infamy. I asked the Congress to declare war against the Empire of Japan. He doesn't say against Hitler. He didn't say against Germany. He didn't say that. We weren't going to go war with Germany. But people say, well, we went to war to stop the Nazis. No, we didn't. We didn't. If Hitler hadn't declared war on us, we may not have gone to war with the Germans. Oh, yeah, people don't know that. It's absolutely true. Newt Gingrich wrote a book 20 years ago called 1945. And in his book, it's fiction, obviously. In this book, in 1941, the Austrian guy with the mustache who ran Germany at the time, he gets into an accident and goes into a coma for 7 days. Again, not happening. Gingrich's book, he wrote this. And he does it right during December 7th. So since he goes into a coma, and when he comes out, the Americans are already at war with Japan. So he doesn't declare war on Germany. So he declared war on America. So we never go into war against the Germans. So in 1945, the Germans have won World War II in his book. And there's a Cold War, not between America and the Soviet Union, but between America and Germany, both trying to get the nuclear bomb first. So I went way off track. This is your fault with that Desert Fox comment, anti-corporatist. That's your fault. So I'm going to blame you for that one. Anyway, Phil says, Rommel is complicated. He supposed he was part of the Valkyrie plot to kill Hitler. Yes. Rommel was actually told by the regime that he had two choices. They can arrest him and he can be tried and they will punish him as a traitor and his family as a traitor. Or he could have an accident and we'll keep your family and your name whole. Rommel chose accident. So he killed himself, committed suicide with a cyanide? I think that's right. And then they lied and said it was a heart attack, and they gave him a state funeral. True story. And that was right after Valkyrie. They actually tried to kill him, the man with the mustache. They tried to kill him about 40 some odd times. People don't realize that. It's one of the reasons why I say, again, way off topic, but it's one of the reasons why I say we should always talk to our enemies, no matter what. People say, you don't talk to enemies. That's insanely stupid. Insanely stupid. You need to make peace with your enemies and you need to talk to them, right? Talk to them, make peace. I want to stop fighting wars, right? Got to talk to them. Doesn't mean you stop fighting. Doesn't mean you don't hate them. Sometimes you have to fight them. Don't stop the fight, but talk to them. People don't know the guy named Rudolf Hess, literally parachuted into England 1941, 42. I forgot when he did, to try to talk peace to the Brits because we wouldn't talk to him. Why wouldn't we talk to him? Because the idiot who is FDR decided unconditional surrender. How stupid was that? But Larry, they're horrible. You have to have unconditional surrender. No, that's insanely dumb. What happens with unconditional surrender is the people believe that their entire culture will be destroyed. They believe that because the bad guys tell them that because we say unconditional surrender. So they think if we surrender, we lose everything. Fight to the death. And we fought to the death. And if we had actually talked to the Germans, talked to them, and while fighting, not stop fight, but talk to them, say, hey, when you give us these, I'm making this number up, give us these 150 leaders who are all part of that special party that we know, NAZI, I don't want to get canceled, that party, we want all of them. Deliver them to us, and the big man, we want him. Dead or alive, we want him. Deliver them to us. Agree to remove your soldiers from every country you invaded, and we'll talk peace. That's what they do. Agree that you will remove your soldiers from all the countries you conquered and give us these people, we'll talk. Now you're saying, Larry, that's stupid. They wouldn't have surrendered. First off, they tried to kill him 40 some odd times. And if you watch that movie, Valkyrie, that has Tom Cruise in it, it's about how many of the officers didn't want to join it. They were afraid. Well, what if they knew they could actually get a deal? They probably would have killed men in the war. But Larry, don't we have to punish him? Punish the leaders. I said that. Punish them. But not just that. I'm going even further than that. You know, the one of the most worst by casualties, one of the worst years for American casualties were 1945, the last year of the war. We lost 6 figures worth of Americans died that year. What if we ended it? They're all alive. How about all of the Germans and the French and the Russians who died that year? How about all the cities that were destroyed? How about all the Jews who were killed in the gas chambers? All that year. We could have ended all of that earlier. All of that. And had no Cold War because we could have left Germany intact without a special type of regime they had. We could have just whatever it is. You know what I'm talking about. We could have done that. All those things were possible. You should always talk to your enemies. Always. What if we talked to Japan? We told Japan there's no Korean War. I'm not joking. There's no Korean War. We told the Japanese. They want to surrender. If this is a true story, they were talking to the Russians to try to surrender. And of course, Stalin said, oh, you're talking about to surrender? Oh, great. Then he invaded. And so Stalin invaded and took over half of Korea. That's why we have North and South Korea now, because of that. FDR's terrible idea of unconditional surrender and not talking to the Japanese and the Germans made more people dead, ensured that we would have the Korean War, ensured we'd have the Vietnam War, and ensured that we would have a Cold War, and ensured that more people would die. Nothing but bad. Sorry, it's all your fault. You guys at your chat makes me go down a road. I'm sorry. Anyway, yes. Let's see if I can go grab a couple of these here. All right. Let's see if I can grab here. Nathan says, Larry, I hope you and your family are doing great. Much love, brother. Wanted to give my take on the debate. Okay. It was dumb on both sides, on both ends of the coin. Trump missed so many marks, and Harris was walked into victory by the moderators. That's true. I think both of those are true. She literally gave almost no substance on what she wanted to do as president. Correct. I think one of the best things Trump said was at the very end when he asked about why he's not. Yeah, that was my point. Yes, I agree. So yes, if you want to hear what Trump could have done better, watch the last hour of yesterday's show, right? Yesterday's show is a 4-hour show. I get it if you don't watch the whole thing, but 2 hours is the actual debate. So watch the last hour. I'm very clear what he should have done, how it should have worked. The first hour was all prep, and almost everything I said was proven correct from my prep from the hour before. Almost all of it was. So yes. Pete says, Tulsi proved Harris couldn't debate, 4 years ago? Correct, Pete. She's not a great debater. She just prepped. Her team, Harris's team, did their job well. I mean, that's a good team. Don't fire that team. That is a good team. Yes, 100%. Andy Corporate says she may have been hiding her power level. This part, people said that. I don't buy that. Let me tell you why I don't buy it. If she could have, she would have used it. She would have used it during 2020. She would have used it, right? She thought she could be president then. She would have used everything. She used everything she had, and she showed that without a solid team, she wasn't there. The advantage of being the Democratic nominee is you get all of their best consultants, and you're not paying for it. Donors are. So you get the best consultants for you personally for free. And she got the best ones, and she used them, and she listened. Trump, I'm sure, could get them also, but obviously doesn't have them or doesn't listen to them, one or the other. So yes. James says, I bet the moderators would be worse to third party and unaffiliated candidates if they won debates. I think you're right. Tim says, they definitely gave Harris a question beforehand. I knew the questions beforehand. If you watched the show last night, an hour before, we called all the questions. We knew what they were going to be. You didn't have to give them. We knew it. Yes. Ryan says she started out nervous, but when she settled in, she did well. Yes, and I think that the point was this is her first time doing this. But once she saw him crack, she went right back to her. Remember, she's a prosecutor for years. That personality, that sticks. That's why I knew that. That sticks. Missy says, leave a like for the Al Gore rhythm. Yes, please do that, guys. If you haven't liked it already, please do so. Click the button that is like. It does matter, right? At whatever you hip check it, punch it, kick it, use your nose, use your tongue. That sounds kind of weird. Don't do that. Use something, whatever, right? Do that. And if you are watching on Twitter or Facebook, retweet it or share it. If you have not subscribed to YouTube, please subscribe. It does matter. If you want to super chat me, as some of you are doing, please do that. It's great. That goes right to the front. Also, if you want to become a YouTube member, you can. If you're watching on Larry Sharpe YouTube, click that join button. $5 a month gets me doing more and more of this. I've been trying to do more of these. You guys have been throwing the memberships at me, so I've been doing more and more of these and trying to get more of you in here. My monologues have been a little bit shorter recently so that I can have more of you in here. I'm trying to make this more of a back and forth, and I'm glad you guys are doing it. I appreciate it. I hope you're enjoying this style. Most shows like this are not done live. Almost all of them are, they do something, they record it, they edit it, they put it in, and you just get to comment with yourselves right after, which is not bad. I watch those too. But the live shows to me seem a whole lot better. Also, if I make a mistake, you guys correct me, right? If I miss something, you go, Larry, what about this? And also I get to walk down roads I never thought I was going to walk down the road of FDR or any of that stuff. Valkyrie. I never thought I'd work down that road. But anyway, yes. Click the button that is like. She's correct. Please copy her. She's right. So yes. All right. I'm going to grab here if I can grab a couple more. Joel says, the Reuters article said no one on the fence was swayed by this debate. That's not true. It's obvious people were. Obviously people were. It's obvious. I don't know why they would say that. It's obvious it was. Again, but it wasn't like the world's ending, right? But yes, it obviously was. Some people were. Because right here, Liberty Lady says that was probably because of Taylor Swift. She eventually had to turn comments off in that one X tweet. Taylor Swift also said it. So yes. Now, does somebody say Taylor Swift backs Harris so I do? There's some, right? There's some. But most people don't. But what does happen is a lot of the youngsters who literally are not paying attention at all don't know. How do I know that? And some of you think it's crazy. No. My daughter is 20. Most of her friends probably couldn't tell you who's running for president. I'm not even joking. They probably couldn't even tell you. Like, I don't know. Is it Biden still? I don't remember. Like, they don't, it's not part of their world. They don't watch TV. They don't look at mainstream media. They look at TikTok and their friends' social media, Instagram. So whatever pops up there, they go, oh, that's it. And if it's not what they want, they swipe right by it in 5 seconds. They don't finish reading it. They don't finish looking at it. They're swiping by. So like they go, oh, it's a Harris woman. What is she? Like that's how they're thinking. My daughter will ask them because she'll hear me talk and she'll go tell her friends, like, oh, is that right? Like they don't know. So what did the Taylor Swift thing do? It didn't make kids go, oh my God, I'm voting for Harris now. No, but it did make them go, oh, she cares? Maybe I should care. Let me go on Instagram or TikTok and see who these people are. So I think that what her comment does, it does move more of the youth into voting. Statistically, the youth will vote more left than right. And most of her fans are women, not all. Statistically, women will vote more left than right. So her endorsement, while it is not earth-shattering at all, it will bring some more people to Harris. What number is that? I don't know. Is it 0.5%? I don't really know what that number is, but there's no doubt that her endorsement will bring some people to Harris. Some of the people she motivates will vote Trump, right? Some will go, oh, I'm now interested, but I don't like Harris. I prefer Trump. So some Trump supporters will come aboard because of this. But I would guess probably 2 to 1. Harris supporters will come on versus Trump supporters. So I think a small chunk she will gain from this. That's my view on this one, only because of stats. I think that's it, because of stats. All right, I'm gonna keep going down these. I appreciate all these comments. I'm gonna try to grab some more of these. So let's see here. Is it Jalen? Jalen says Trump needs to swap with Bobby, especially since it's a unity coalition. She got under his skin and he didn't talk Maha or censorship. Yes, and I did call this in the pregame show. I said he's not gonna do it. A lot of you are like, he's gonna talk about that. I'm like, nope, he will not do it. Why won't he do it? He is unaccustomed to edifying anybody but himself. This is literally years and years of habit. And he's clearly not listening to his team. So if his team said, do this, we were talking yesterday, if you remember, if anybody was watching the pregame show, we talked about this idea. Why don't they like bring Bobby on as a joke or have Tulsi come out, right? Blah, 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 to scare Harris. But what a beautiful joke slash, I mean, how much press you've gotten for that? We're motivated people. I'm not even joking. Like if I'm the team, if I'm part of his prep team, and for those of you who don't know, what happens is guys like Trump and Harris have swarms of people around them. And everyone's trying to get their 2 cents or get their minute with them. I remember when I was with Gary Johnson in 2016, I was with a couple of his events. We did a couple of the bigger events he did, like he did a Times Square event. At the time, he did the Stephen Colbert show in 2016. And some of those big ones, I was there with some of them. And you see 8 people in the room. And he was an independent. There's probably 20 for guys like this, right? So everyone's trying to get what they want from him while I'm trying to prep him. So I'm trying to prep Johnson. Meanwhile, governor this, governor that. I'm like, stop. I'm trying to prep him. But so much was going on that he gets half of what I'm saying, half what this guy's saying. Bill Weld was there, half of this, half of that. And guys like Weld was like, I've been here before. Weld didn't even care. He was like, I got this. He had a lot of hubris. Johnson did not have a lot of hubris, but he was overwhelmed with all the stuff that was happening. And that, so I'm sure same with Trump. They're all going, oh, listen, all that stuff. And it's very hard. You've got to be able to have a candidate who's prepared to sit down, push everybody else out. And when they come in, you go, stop, I'm prepping, and then prep. The advantage that Harris had, she doesn't really have a job. She's not really campaigning. She's doing anything. So it's not bad when you don't have a job and you're getting paid. You're getting paid. You have servants everywhere. You don't have a job. You can sit around for 3 hours and prep. And clearly she did. So yes, you're right. But Trump is not going to swap with Bobby. That's not going to happen. Should he use him more? Yes. Yes. If you support Trump and you have any influence on his team, call them, email them, text them, whatever you want, if you care, and tell them, why isn't Tulsi out? Why isn't Bobby out? Why isn't everybody else out? Why they should all be out. Trump should go chill and rethink. Yes, he's not listening. So yes. All righty. Joe says, did either talk about having people in our cabinet outside their party? No, not at all. Because they don't care. Pete, the story of the evening. You are correct. No one talked about the debt. That wasn't even there. No one talked about the debt. Which, by the way, 35 trillion, 331 billion, 161 million, $690,593.41. And as I read that, it got higher. So yes, no one spoke about that. That doesn't matter. I got vibes to deal with, Pete. Okay, I got vibes. My vibes way more important than your debt. 30-some-odd trillion. I got vibes. That's what I'm saying. Yes. Let's see. Jennifer says, I thought she did great last night, but she came off like a Dick Cheney warmonger, like HRC. Trump was over the top on Israel. Yeah. This is the issue. They're not trying to get Republicans, Democrats to join them. They're not. I do think that she's just trying to motivate her base. And her base doesn't mind that. Like her base, like, well, it's fine, whatever. That didn't make her base angry. Now, some people are saying, and I've seen people in the chat to this too, it alienated her more left-leaning people. That's true. Of course, that's true. Agreed. But if you start looking at the more left-leaning space, they're split. And they're split because, I know you're going to hate this, OMB. Because Orange Man bad. I know some of your heads want to explode, but that's a thing. Orange Man bad matters. So now the left, which is split, you're right. There's a chunk of the left who are like, no, she's a warmonger. This Dick Cheney thing is too much. We're voting Jill Stein or we're voting Cornel West. That is absolutely a chunk of people who are doing that. That's true. But it's about 50-50, which she believes is enough. Maybe she's right. Plus, they're trying to throw Cornel West and Jill Stein off the ballot in most states anyway. So if they can get them off the ballot in the swing states, then why do they care? Right? If they're able to sue Jill Stein and Cornel West off of most of the swing state ballots, which they're trying to do, then what are you going to do? Right? These people who are anti-war either won't vote, which they're happy with, or vote for Harris, which they're happy with. They're not going to go, okay, I'm anti-war and I don't have, I guess I'll vote for Trump. That's not going to happen. So they will either not vote or hold their nose and vote for Harris. And look at guys like Cenk Uygur. Cenk Uygur is all on the Harris train. all on the Harris train. And he's a not the most prominent, but he's a prominent person on the far anti-war left. He is prominent, and he's not doing Jill Stein. He's on the Harris train, 100%. He was thinking about being on the Bobby train or the Stein train when Biden was in, but as soon as Harris came up, he changed his mind completely. If you saw, I was on News Nation with him a month ago, talking about exactly this. I said, "You spent a Bobby train." Now all of a sudden, he's changed. So yes. Anyway, all right. You guys keep saying that. Ryan says, I don't think the base weight depends. I just showed you data saying it. I just showed you more than one piece of data shows it did. And a lot of people, if you just check out Twitter, check out Facebook, check out all the things, there's a lot of people who are upset because he didn't talk about anybody else. Thomas says it. Send Tulsa to Ukraine and RFK to Israel. If you could, oh my God. Imagine that. Thomas, you are correct. They should be calling you up. They don't talk to me. Maybe you call them so they'd listen to you. That's not right. Imagine if you did that. That would make the press, they'd all forget about this. They'd be like, what debate? That'd make the press. He's trying to make something happen. Yes, absolutely. Jennifer says, Trump missed a lot of hits, but she looked very rehearsed and probably got the questions in advance. They knew the questions already, and she was very rehearsed. But again, that's not a bad thing. Being rehearsed is not a bad thing. If I'm her consultant, I'm making sure she's completely rehearsed. She's not that good off the cuff. She's not that good. If she's my candidate, I got to make sure she's good. So I'm rehearsing her like there's no tomorrow. And as I mentioned, and people who've worked with me know, I will literally break rapport while we're in the middle of rehearsing to get you back on track. I will say things. I will bug you. I'll try to make you angry. I'll get under your skin. When we're rehearsing, I'll do all those things, right? I'll purposely get under your skin because I want you to be able to react under pressure. I want you to get right back to it again and again and again. It's called scenario training. That's what it's actually called. And she obviously had it, and he didn't. Yes. Mr. Matt's Arcade says, I'm one of the people who was very disappointed that Trump didn't bring up anything about his team. I like Kennedy and other members of his team. I don't actually like Trump. These are the independents I'm talking about, guys. Now, it doesn't mean Mr. Matt's going to go vote for Harris. It doesn't mean that. But he's now less motivated to vote. He's less motivated to tell his friends. Now, I don't know him personally, so he might do it anyway. But my point is, there's literally thousands of people like him who now may not vote or may not tell their friends or may not do this. Yes, that's the point I'm making. And in this election, that will matter tremendously. Whole Crash says, I think she won the abortion part of it. Yes, agreed. But neither of them answered relevant questions aside from the abortion thing, which Trump absolutely lost. Everybody wanted it. No, not true. Agreed. Yes, you're totally correct. And again, most of the Democratic base is female. Most educated females vote by droves, like 80% or more vote. That hits them perfectly. That hits them perfectly. Yes. Gene says, I don't think that his team thinks he won. Trump is smug enough to think he won. Ooh, so you think, Gene, that he's not just doing a bit. You think he actually believes it? Maybe. James says, Trump is one of the debate that is chicken. Maybe Harris could debate the third party candidates instead so the party can be held accountable for all they've done to us this year. Yeah, I think you and I both know that's not going to happen. But what you just said is exactly what Democrats are doing. Democrats are going to spin it into he's scared. She beat him so badly that he's scared. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. I mean, I don't know. Gene may be correct. He might think he won. It's possible he thinks he won. And he's like, I beat her so badly, I don't have to go back anymore. It's done. He might believe that. But whether he believes it or not, the Democratic spin will be he's chicken. And I would bring that up too. That's my second $100 million worth of ads is him being afraid of her. That's my second one. Absolutely. So Pete asked, what does the Taylor Swift endorsement of Harris mean for the November election? I think I did mention that. I think it is a small percentage of people who are now interested, and a chunk, and more of that small chunk will go to Harris than will go to Trump. And it's just because of math. It's just math. That's it. Let's see here. Jennifer goes on to say, Trump shouldn't do one like this. Super biased. Agreed. Yeah. Agreed. But if this is the only one we can get, I would probably do it. Yeah. Nancy says, what would her ad show? She lied. No, she's not going to be honest, Nancy. She's not going to be honest. In theory, she'll be honest. Okay, let me be clear. She will be her ads will be honest. They'll just be deceptive. How about that? Her ads, if they're savvy, I mean, I'm assuming that's what I would do. I always think about what I would do if I was there, and I assume that they're going to try to do something like that, right? So what I did last night when I gave my ideas, and that's what should have happened. It didn't. Harris people did what I said. The other ones, Trump didn't. But my point is, if I'm making these commercials, it's only about making Trump look bad. So I'm avoiding everything I said, right? I'm not putting anything Harris said on it, unless it's like teeing it up for him to look bad. I cut and paste it. So Harris says something that sounds smart because I cut and paste it. And then I show whatever's the bad stuff that Trump did. And I show that a bazillion times. A bazillion times all over the place. And I do it mostly on mainstream TV, which is where most people who watch mainstream TV vote. A lot of mainstream TV. So yes. Thomas is a good performance by J.D. Vance in a Vance Walz debate could turn us narrative around. I don't know. Generally speaking, VP debates don't move the needle very much at all. But you know what? This is a tight race. It could be. It could be. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. Sam says Harris used a lot of emotional tactics and Trump was not able to counter them. Agreed. Example, her description of a woman bleeding out. If you remember, what did I tell you? Right before I said I would have a bunch of stories prepared. And she did. What a perfect set of stories. Right? Now you're saying Trump can't do that. Yes, he can if he listens. Of course he can. He doesn't naturally do that. That is not his norm. His norm is attack. And remember, what Trump does well is he projects strength. What he does not do well is project empathy. He's not good at that. I go back and say all the time, the Biden of like 2016-ish, back in that area, used to project empathy amazingly well. Was very good at projecting empathy, right? Clinton, of course, I always bring up was the best. I feel your pain. Boy, he could project the empathy. It's no tomorrow. Very good at that. Trump, not a skill set. Trump projects strength. So he always falls back to strength. But can you train empathy in a story? Yes. They did it a couple times well. The Republicans did it well at the RNC, where they had his family out, his kids and stuff. Oh, Trump's a nice guy, projecting empathy. So, Sam, you're right what he did. I think he can do that, but it takes training. That's the piece. It takes training and discipline to go, okay, give me a good story. Let's walk through the story. Come on, Trump, do it again. Do it again until he gets it. I think he can do it. He did it during the convention. So it can be done. It's just tough. So yes. Pete says, Taylor Swift, who made her career thinking about bad choices, endorses Kamala. Yes. There we go. Absolutely. All right. Let me see if I can grab some more of these. All righty. Hold on. Where am I here? There we go. All righty. Joel says, Kamala is one of us. She's a gunner or two. We have nothing to worry about. I trust her, don't you? I trust her, don't you? Yes. Roger says, that's exactly what you said, Larry. Spot on. Yeah. Yes. I try to walk down. I think about what I would have done, and I try to walk down that road. Yes. All righty. Worked on a couple more of these. Wow. Yeah. All right. Nancy says, Larry, have you thought or wondered about a shadow AI control going on? Is that who, what is controlling everything? The future, can I get out? The door is closed. I don't see that yet. Is it possible for the future? Yeah. I could see that, right? I guess I could see that. But I don't think it's now. I don't think we're there now at all. Right now, I think who's running this is much more a group of people who are just trying to grift. I think that's it. Yes. The anti-corporator says, Trump was all she knew the questions. And I mean, they were obvious questions, but she also pivoted to her prepared mini speeches. That's the key, my friend. Thank you for that. That's the key. The key is that she pivoted to the mini speeches. She had them prepared. She outworked him. She's not a better debater, right? And this is what people start acting like, oh, this might be her fault. Here is how she could screw herself. She could start thinking, oh, wow, I'm amazing. I'm the best. I'll debate him 25 times, right? She could start thinking that. And if she starts thinking that, she could fall. Hubris could destroy her, right? Hubris could destroy her because she isn't that great of a debater. But I'm going to give credit where credit is due. She clearly did her homework. She had those mini speeches prepared. And they were, if you notice, no ums, no ers. They went off without a hitch. She prepped them like there's no tomorrow. And that was good. That's it. All righty. Let's see here. The Orthodox Moore says Trump particularly lost with independents, even though she didn't win them. Agreed. And the needle was moved lightly, right? Lightly. That's the issue. Joel says, Kamala's one of those people who smile, but it's actually her baring her teeth in a threat. That's good. Gene says, you gave the best advice to have someone from Trump team sent to end the war. Yes, that is the answer. If they're not doing it this weekend, they are making an error. That is a mistake. If they're not doing it this weekend, that's an error. Yes. The anti-corporate says, I mean, part of the problem with Trump is he doesn't take things seriously. He doesn't prepare. He believes he can just BS his way through things, and that works for him frequently, but not this time. Yes. Not always. Yes. This is my point. If he gets a second chance, but here's the issue. And the reason why this bothers me and I'm concerned is because I had the exact same issue, if you remember, when we did the National Association of Black Journalists. The exact same issue. He didn't learn. Sam says she hit him in the ego and he can't take it. Yeah, that's true. Absolutely. That is true. My worry is now, what do they do? Right? What's the next step? Right? We'll see. All righty. Larry, it's the truth. The Haitians are doing what Trump said. They're giving them driver's licenses. They're questioning everything. I don't know if it's true. But it's very clear. I didn't know if that story was true or not. But my point is, Trump didn't know. He made an assumption. And here's the worst part. Think about, if you're talking about migrants and someone says, well, the migrants, this is where Harris is the weakest. I mean, she's terribly weak on this, right? She's grossly weak on this. This is like oh my God, she's terrible on this. And he went to the dog thing? He could have dogged them taking over the apartments. He'd have gone to them trashing cities. He'd have gone to them, taking over department stores. I mean, he could have gone with them robbing places. I mean, there's so many things he could have come up with. Trafficking. I mean, there's a list of 45 problems that we're having with migrants. How many could have, and he picked that one. That's my point. I'm not saying that it's happening. I didn't check into it. But why would you use that one that he did not check? If that's true, and if he knew it, he should have had his facts ready. He should have said, no, it is true. And let me tell you where it is from. And here's my data. Here's my evidence. He had none of that. He pulled it out of the air. And he said, I saw it on TV. Nancy, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying you can't have your candidate say that on national TV without you as the team prepping him saying, here's where it is. Here's your data. Here's your source. So he could have said, this is the source. And that guy would look stupid. But Trump didn't have a source because either, again, he didn't listen to his team or they didn't prep him. Somebody dropped the ball on that one, Nancy. He should have been able to go, it is true. And here's how. And here's why. He went, it isn't? I don't know. I saw it on TV. Yes, absolutely. Mariah says, exactly. Neither was an exemplary presidential candidate, in my humble opinion. But again, they only have to be better than the other. In our sorry two-party system, you only have to be better than the other. That's it. Yes. Jennifer says, I work for lawyers that have no common sense. They don't have to. I'm not attacking lawyers now. I'm just saying she doesn't have to. Jennifer, this is my point. You just have to memorize stuff and say it. And Ryan's saying it, right? The anti-corporate is saying it. She just had to be able to regurgitate the things she practiced, which is how you often win debates. So she did the thing you had to do, right? You got to do X, Y, and Z. She did it. And again, you might go, oh, it's terrible. It's bad. She's bad. Yes, but that's the game you're playing. And if you're supporting Trump, you got to know that and go, this is what she's going to do. This is how it works. We got to counter that. And if you remember in the first hour, I expressed how you counter that in your opening statement. And then someone said they don't have opening statements. I said, if they don't have opening statements, just give one, which is literally what Harris did. Harris gave an opening statement. And then Trump, instead of giving his own opening statement, which is what he should have done, And again, I mentioned that little bit. I told you about when I was in, I didn't give an opening statement at one of the debates I had. I was moderating with Dr. Cornel West. And Cornel West said, I'm just doing it anyway. So what I then did is I stopped and I said, okay. I then gave the other candidates, there were 3 people who were debating. I gave them opening statements to match Cornel West. Then I re-asked the question. So I still got my question answered. I just allowed them to have opening statements, right? So when she just decided to have an opening statement, which is what she did, which was rehearsed, 100% canned, Trump should have responded with his opening statement, with he should have had canned, but he did not do it. So you are correct, Jennifer. And in this case, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Gene says, if people fell for Harris's phony charade, then America's in a sad state. America's in a sad state, Gene. She spoke down to people as if we're inferior because she believes that. She does. Harris believes that she's better than us. Why wouldn't you do that? And it's worked for her. She's the vice president of the United States and a nominee for the president of the United States and may become president of the United States. Why would she change? Why would she change? It's been working. Why would she change? Yes. And she says, I would bet Trump went off script. He didn't listen to his prep team. Yeah, I think you're correct, Angie. Absolutely. Yes. Sam says, I'm only supporting Trump because of RFK Jr. Yeah. There's a lot of people who think that. And that's my worry, right? A lot of people are thinking that. Yeah, absolutely. Pete says, like, comment, and share. It'll be the most important like of our life. This is, Pete, this is the most important podcast of our life. You have to. This show is the most important show of our life. You have to click the like banner or you don't like Haitians. There we go. You are literally a Haitian hater if you don't click the like button. So click the like button. Why would you be that way? Don't be mean. Maybe I've actually eaten it. Whatever. Click the like button. I don't care what you think about Haitians. Either way, click the like button. And if you're watching on Twitter or on Facebook, share. Share it now. Share it to the best of your ability. Click that subscribe button. If you haven't subscribed to Larry Sharpe YouTube, please do so. You can always super chat me if you want to get your chat to the front. It goes right to the front if you super chat me. Happy to have that. And also, if you want to become a member, I try to grab all the member comments I can. Others I skip by some of them. I get too many of them, but if I see a member comment, I try to grab that one, which is why some people pop it 2 or 3 times because I grab the members first if I can as they go through. So yes, so please do that if you want to become a member. It's $5 a month. It keeps me going. I've been given like shows like every day, so lots and lots of shows. 4 hours last night. So I am working. I'm trying to earn. I'm singing for my supper. I'm singing for my supper. See that? I'm definitely singing for my supper. Joe says the last debate with Biden and Trump definitely changed things. Yep. I think this one did too, but not to the same impact. Trump ain't being replaced clearly. Yes, they're not replacing Trump. You are correct. Absolutely. I do think it moved the needle a little bit is what I'm going to say. It moved the needle a little bit. That's what it did. So, all righty. The anti-corporate says, I think you're right, but that also she needs to be doing interviews, not with docs though. The media in general are entitled and will get mad if she doesn't do anything with them. Yes, I think you're right, but only to the friendly ones, right? Just go to mainstream media, the CNNs, MSNBCs, New York Times, the ones that are friendly, right? Do the friendlies and we'll be good. Just do the friendly ones. Absolutely. All righty. Let's see. William says the post-debate bump is more a response bias. I think that's true. As I mentioned, I'm not sure, William, that this bump will last. I don't know if it will, right? I don't know if it will. I know it's going to happen. You're going to see it. If I'm her team, I'm trying to keep that going up just slightly every week. If I get 0.5% every week, that's 4 points. 4 points wins the election. So that's all he needs. But I think you're right. I don't know if it's true. I'm not prepared to say she's going to win the election. To Joe's point, I don't think this is earth-shattering. I think it's a bump is what it is. I think it's a bump. And it depends on how well she can take advantage of it and how well Trump can bounce back. Look, to be forward, if you're a Trump supporter, he has come back from worse. If you're a Harris supporter, I wouldn't give up yet. It's not over. So, yes. The real impact for the debate is who actually watched it to have their choices impacted. In the end, both made mistakes and made points. I say it's a wash. The issue also is something else, right? Will others motivate other people to vote? That's the issue. Right? Well, other people do it. Matt, Emperor Larry, deal of the truce. When? I like that. Matt, I owe you a super chat last time. You put up a super chat before. But it was when I had a panel show, and the panel was just not where you were at all. And there was no way I could disrespect all the panel members by just going so way off topic. I try to put super chats at the front always. If I do an AMA, I take it no matter what. That's for anything. If it's this, I try to keep it kind of on topic, but I'll take some. When I have a panel full of 3 or 4 people talking about a specific topic, if I can't get them to your topic, it becomes very awkward to do a super chat that was so off topic. So I do apologize for that, Matt. But I do remember, yes. If I remember right, you did ask me. You asked me about. Pop it in the chat what you asked me about, and I will take that right now. If you pop in chat what you asked, I'll do it right now. So yes, Colita says I like the way Larry rolls. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Yes, I do appreciate that. I'm trying my best. So Alexa says if I'd said since she's a woman she can't debate, that would be sexist. But when looking at it compared to pearl earrings that are about to be released that are in audio pieces. Oh, I remember that. Yes, I remember that. Okay. Yes, I've seen those little pearl earrings. Do you really think so? The reason why I would be worried is the gamble on that, Alexa, is a big deal, right? If she gets caught with that, I mean, she looks really bad. Maybe. I mean, look, I'm not saying it's impossible. All I'm saying is that's a big gamble. You put that in your ear and someone finds out and you get caught. I mean, that's like a massive scandal. You're cheating. I mean, maybe, but it just seems that I would rather just, in her case, I have time. She doesn't have a job. I can just prep her for hours every day, right? If I prep her for hours every day, I don't need to. It's totally fine. Yes. So, okay, here's Matt's question. All right, this is from a super chat from a couple of days back. It was the full explanation on how RFK could get any money for getting 5%. My friend read the FEC website and could figure out how he would get hundreds of millions of dollars. Okay, he's not going to get hundreds of millions. What happens, you get matching funds. There are 2 separate pieces when it comes to RFK Jr. getting the 5%. If anyone gets the 5%, and it is the individual that matters, and the individual must be a member of a party. That's 2 things. Must be an individual who's a member of the party, right? And if they are a member of the party and they get 5% or more of the vote, whatever that number is. So for the sake of argument, there will probably be about 160 million Americans voting. So about 8%, about 8 million votes. So if he gets 8 million votes, the votes can come from any state, as doesn't matter. In theory, could come from all of them, right? Could come from all of them or any one of them. Doesn't matter which one. As long as he gets 8 million votes, he now has 5%. After the 5% piece, he gets that. Now he can start getting what's called matching funds. So for every dollar that he raised, the government matches that. You don't get hundreds of millions of dollars. The maximum you can spend is $200 million. You wind up getting at least $20 million. That's how it works. It's not 100%. The formula isn't crystal clear. Like, oh, you get 5%, here's $20 million. But you will wind up getting about $20 million, depending on how much you've raised. And once you start raising more, you then get matching funds up to 100 million. 100 million you raise, 100 million you get. Total being 200 million. With 200 million total, you can, if you spend more than $200 million, oh, excuse me. Hold on, my nose is bugging me real fast. Sorry about that. Talk about money so much I had to sneeze. So if you can raise up to $100 million and they will match that. That's why it's called matching funds, right? You raise, they match. The government, and this is money from the federal government, is give to you. They just give it to you. Yes, it's give it to you. The goal was to make it fairer for people to run. That was supposed to, and you keep it under 200 million. The problem is if you spend more than 200 million, you don't get the matching funds. And if you get it, you've got to give it back. So what happened? 2008, Barack Obama says, I can raise way more than $200 million. Way more. So he stopped doing matching funds. I don't need your money. I can raise more than 200 million. And now every Republican Democrat raises more than $200 million. So since 2008, nobody's taken the money. It's just sitting there. Yes, the money's just sitting there. So Bobby Kennedy Jr., how much he's raised now, he can start getting matching funds immediately. He can start getting, as he raises money, matching funds, which you can start paying off debt, paying for the next level, whatever the case may be. It does not give you automatic ballot access. You can still fight for that, but you could raise money for that using the matching funds. So you could actually raise money to do that. That's how that works, right? I hope that was clearer. It is not automatic hundreds of millions. It is a maximum of 200 million. If you spend more, you must give all the money back that you got, all the matching funds. And it's matching the money. That's how it works. That's how you can raise more and more and more. So in theory, you could raise up to 200 million. I hope that was clearer for you, brother. I'm sorry for having to wait. So I hope that's good. So, all right. Ryan brings up a very important point. He says, I will admit, I'm a little more demotivated to vote. Yes, that was exactly my issue. That was exactly my issue. Yes. Matt says, oh, okay, I misheard and thought matching funds for 200. Yes. So I'm glad you got that. That's now how it works. I'm glad you got that. Yes. So Pinkerbell's in the house. Hey, Pinkerbell. Good to see you. All right. Let me grab a couple more of these if I could. Alexa says, I don't know what to think about. That's why I ask. Did I miss something? Thank you for $2, though. I appreciate that. Ryan, thank you for $2. Last night is a great reason to dump the duopoly. 100%. That's my imagine if Bobby Kennedy Jr. was on that stage. Imagine if Jill Stein was on that stage. Imagine if Chase Oliver was on that stage. Imagine if any of them were. Imagine if Cornel West was on that stage. Anybody else on that stage. It changes everything. It changes everything. If any of them were on that stage, everything changes. But it's not just you're the bad guy. You're the bad guy. It's not that. Things begin to change. And I really, if anybody else was on that stage, things would have been better. That's it. That libertarian lady says, history with Larry. I do have a lot of history in my head somehow. An interesting point. I have a thing called synesthesia. Some of you may have it. I don't know how common it is. My youngest daughter inherited it. My oldest one did not. My youngest one inherited it. Synesthesia is when you kind of mix or match your senses to where you can like taste color or something like that, right? Or something like that. My daughter, when it comes to letters and numbers, sees them in color. I see time, all forms of time in my head like stairs. I don't know why I have this. It's what I have. So I see it in stairs. So I can easily block time out, which is why I know what's 1945, this year, that time. I know I can see years and times and dates in my head as a staircase, months, days, years, kind of thing. So it helps me in understanding history and knowing when things happened. It helps me to understand the order of things. My daughter has it with math. My youngest one has it with math and letters. I have it with time. And some people have said, I guess my mother or father might have had it, I assume. I don't know, as many of you know, I'm adopted, so I never met my biological parents. I'm assuming one of them had it. So maybe. So that's history with Larry. There we go. All righty. Let's see if I can go here. So Dave says we did declare war on Germany after Germany declared war. Well, yes, but you know my point. We responded. Yes. Legs Zach says we only declared war on Japanese. Correct. Yes. So, but actually, the if I'm not mistaken, Dave, the declaration of war was actually not on Germany. If I'm not mistaken, it was actually on Germany's allies. And another interesting spot about that, we declared war on Germany's allies. We declared war on Bulgaria, Romania, Hungary. We did not, Italy. We did not declare war on Finland. Finland was a German ally during World War II, and America did not declare war against Finland, even though Finland was a German ally. And I think that the idea was the Finns were fighting a defensive war against the Russians. I think that's true. But we did not declare war against Finland for some reason. So, yes. All righty. Phil says World War II stuff does matter because it's the justification Harris uses for not talking to Putin. Oh, if Trump read some books, he might be able to better make the argument against Harris, who loves the tanks and bombs. Oh, there we go. I like that. That's not bad. Yes, that's not bad. Yes. Dave says we had a Korean War because North Korea, at the urging of the Soviet Union and Communist China, invaded South Korea. Yes, and my point is, if we had actually made peace with the Japanese before the Russians had invaded, Korea would have been a single country. It wouldn't have been a split country. It was a split country because the Russians invaded Manchuria, also known as Manchukuo. They invaded Manchukuo and then invaded North Korea. If they had invaded neither, Manchukuo would have still existed. It would have been it would have been with China by itself. Korea would have been by itself. No Russian occupation. No Korean War would have existed. So yes. So that's true. Yes. Mike has bad knees. His part of a team was ABC News. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Yes, you're not wrong. 100%. So, all righty. The anti-corpus is laughing at Rommel. I don't get it. You don't like Rommel? I think he was a pretty good general. He wrote a great book. I don't know. Matt I says, man, I watched Charlie Kirk versus 25 woke college students, and we have no hope with that generation. They were so dumb. Well, I'm not sure they're dumb. What I would say is they're ignorant because they don't care. That's my point. They're ignorant because they don't care, right? That's the piece. Alexa says, I think you'd be surprised actually there about how many of her fans will follow to the K crowd just because Swift said so. They do it without knowing who they're really voting for. Do you think so? You know, I don't know the Swifties very well, so you may be right on this. I'm making assumptions based upon the generation. I could be off. My gut says that the kids would like act because she said something, right? If they love her, she says Harris is great. They go, oh, we should like Harris? Let's check her out. That's my assumption. Do you think the kids would follow Swiftie even though she's not in politics? Maybe, I don't know. I would believe you if you say so. I don't know them that well, to be forward with you. I don't know them that well. So yes. Missy says, old turn Kurt Weld. I hate that guy with his last minute supporting of Hillary. What a douche nozzle. Yes. I agree. Joel says, way before Taylor Swift, Natalie Merchant, 10,000 Maniacs, was very political. She brought petitions to concerts and got thousands of signatures. There we go. There we go. P says, Harris is a swamp creature. Yes. Yes. That's correct. The anti-corporate says, I mean, Trump doesn't really have a job either. He does, though. There are two things that he's been doing. First off, he has been fighting all the court battles, and he's still more of them. So he does have that. And he's also trying to actually campaign, which she is not doing. She doesn't have to, right? The press follows her around. She stops off and stops by a base. The press gives her free press. So yes. Christine says she sat around for 6 weeks and prepped. Yes. That's true. Christine's correct. Yes. P agrees with me. Trump is busy fighting 1,000 indictments and campaigning. It's true. Yes. Yep, absolutely. Joel says, why does Pete keep increasing that debt number? It's because Pete's a bad guy. It's him personally. Pete is literally personally increasing our debt. It's his fault. He's a bad guy. It's true. I've met him. He's a bad guy. That's the reason. Now, to be very clear, the government doesn't do it. The government's not responsible for our debt. Pete Clark is directly responsible for our debt. He's the guy who does it. It's his fault. Pete's a bad guy. He purposely does it himself. That's the reason he keeps doing it. That's all. So yes, there we go. All righty. P says Trump should have stuck to the message: collapse in the economy, wide open border, disastrous wars. 100%. It's what I've been saying forever. Yes, absolutely. Yes, and yes. 100%. Khalidi says Trump should have rehearsed his moving forward with Maha points. Yep, absolutely. Joe says, I'm voting Chase Oliver president. I think, to be forward with you, Joe, Chase got more votes last night. I think he did. This is the point that I'm talking about. More people who aren't so motivated. I think he got some more votes last night. So, yeah, I do think that. Alexa says, what's your opinion on the debate of her earrings being audio pieces? Again, as I mentioned, I feel like the gamble is just too high, right? If I thought so at all, right? If I thought so at all, and I'm on a Trump team, I'm going to literally have my Secret Service guys just scan her. I'm not joking, just scan her, right? And picked it up, boom, gone. I would do it if I thought it was even closer true. It seems like a gamble. You can pick that up easily. So, yeah. All righty. Michael says Trump's empathy story was pet dinners in Springfield. That wasn't good. That wasn't good, my friend. Yes. Nikki says it's easy to appear empathetic when you ignore the victims of the policies you support. Open borders, trans and kids. Yes. Nikki, I want to be very clear, Nikki. Yes. Hi, Nikki. It's been a while. Hope you're doing well. Anyway, but yes, 100%. Right. Once if all you do, again, I go back to her, all the time I say this, I go back to her being a prosecutor. What do prosecutors have to do? That person across the way is not human. I'm going to put them away. And I'm going to say whatever I got to say to put them away. That's what prosecutors do. They rehearse stories. They rehearse things. And she did. She wasn't thinking about any of her victims. You're totally correct. She was thinking, how do I make this work? Yes, absolutely. John says, Larry, I was scrolling today and saw a lot of pro-Trump short video clips out of the debate. He looked really good. To your point, I don't think his base is going anywhere. Yeah, I don't think there were people in the Trump base who went, oh my God, that was bad. I'm voting Harris. I don't think so at all. I don't think so at all. Phil says, Trump was very empathetic when he was on Theo Von talking about addiction. You know, you're right, Phil. You're right. I remember that. See, if you were on the team, Phil, what you would have done is said, have him come up with a story about that. That would have been perfect. And then he could tell a story about that. How she hasn't done anything, how the migrants are coming across, how they're bringing fentanyl, blah, blah, blah. That would have been his story that would have matched the doctor's pregnant women story, right? That could have been his story. Yeah, I get the girl had this problem. And how about these family members who are getting crushed by this? I think it absolutely could have worked. That would have been a great idea. And he could have shown some empathy, which he doesn't do well, but rehearse it, right? She rehearses hers. He rehearsed his. Yes, absolutely. I think you could have done both. I completely agree with that. Yes. All right. Pete says, I got the same amount of votes for president as Kamala Harris did. Me too. In fact, I got to tell you something else. I won the same amount of primaries that she did. Did you know that, Pete? We won exactly the same amount of primaries. Me and her. Same amount. Yes. Yep. All righty. The anti-corporate says, he's a 78-year-old white billionaire. I wouldn't bet on him changing or even being able to. If he can't change, if you are correct, he's in trouble. That's what I'm saying. If you are correct, he's in trouble. Michael Gray says, I honestly don't think that many people watch the debate. I believe just about everyone already knows who they're voting for. Agreed. I think that's true. However, two parts. One, to Ryan's point, some people independent, they're turned off. I'm seeing that in the independent world. They're turned up. Like, you didn't mention us? What? I thought we had the team. Where's the dream team? Where's the unity team? Where's the Justice League? What happened? Went away. They're thinking, oh, Jesus. So that's a problem. The second thing is, this is earlier. Who just said this? John just said how we saw a bunch of clips. They're going to clip this, Michael. So you might not see the debate, but you'll see the clips. You'll see the commercials, right? You'll see the commercials. Yes. All righty. Mule said, what was the moment where she started to take control and get under her skin? The Xi Jinping remarks. A lot. Yes. When she was saying how he's seen it as weak or a sucker or whatever she was saying, it really did make him angry. It really did. That's really, yeah. Yeah. It did make him angry. That's a problem. He should have been, but again, if it's me, they're not listening to me, obviously. If it's me, and there may be people watching who I've actually been debate prep with. The people are still around. I'm going to debate prep. I'm always, of the whole team, I'm always the ass who gets under the guy's skin. I'm the guy who, when we're doing a prep, we'll do prep all together, and I will literally be the guy who just cuts him off and says things until the candidate gets mad at me. Actually mad at me. That's the point. You got to be able to get mad at me and still hold your shit together. Because the other guy's going to be worse than me. Well, actually, no, I'm actually worse. I break the rules. I'm actually really bad. But that's okay. If you can handle me, you can handle anybody in front of you. That's the point. I will stab. And now I'm stabbing you in front of the team. So now you're embarrassed. But good. Get embarrassed. You don't want to run for president or governor or senator or Congress. You're going to be embarrassed. Get embarrassed now. Get embarrassed now in front of this team. And respond and keep your shit together in front of this team. Or if you lose it in front of this team. Don't lose it when you're on TV. So I think you're right. And clearly, as the other guy said, as I've been saying, he either did listen to his team or his team is bad. They should have done they should have said all those things. They should have said, you're weak. You're weak. Right to his face and get him pissed off so he can handle it and know what to say and know how to deal with that stuff. This is called scenario training. That's what it's called. It's scenario training. You do this kind of thing to keep your person on squared away. That's how it works. So yes. All right. Colletti says, if there are silly debate rules, make your own. Happens all the time. I do this, believe it or not, when some of you guys who are lawyers will like this, and if you work with lawyers, you'll know this. I do this when I'm doing prep for lawyers, either doing opening, closing statements, or actually questioning witnesses, right? Doing witness prep, that kind of thing. And I'll literally tell them, ask this question. And the lawyer will say, Larry, I can't ask the question. Why not? Well, because the judge will throw it out. Why do I care? What do you mean? It won't be in a transcript. Who cares? The jury heard it. I make my own rules. I don't care. Say the thing. Is he? And I'll ask them, is that going to be too far? Is he going to like really punish you? Well, no, he won't punish me. Then say it. Go to the edge. Go until you know the judge is about to throw you out. You're about to get sanctioned. Okay, stop. I'll stop. You win, judge. You win. Until then, push. 100%. 100%. Push it. I think you have to make your own rules. But there's the other piece. If you know the system is set against you and the rules are made to stop you, why would you follow those rules? Straight Chillaxon says Trump is great for Bitcoiners, just being honest. Trump isn't great. He's better than Harris by far, but Bobby Kennedy is great for Bitcoiners. Now he's with the Trump team, so that's probably better. Yes, but I'm just saying there's a difference. Harris is terrible for Bitcoiners. Terrible. Trump is far better than Harris when it comes to Bitcoiners. But RFK Jr. is great for Bitcoiners. Great. Yes, absolutely. So Joe says, if you don't like this stream, you want the communists to win. He's right. So if you're not a communist, you're going to have to click like, or you're basically a communist. That's correct. You are a communist if you don't do it. So click the button that is like. Do it now, please. It does matter. Yes. All righty. Joel says, we are talking about someone who pretended she was on the phone and held the phone to her ear while wearing earbuds. So yes, I think she'd risk the hearing. Okay. She might, but I'm telling you, if I'm there and I'm on her team, I'm going to be like, no way are you wearing this. If you get caught, the campaign is over. You can't, look, we know people cheat. You can't obviously cheat. You got to at least pretend to hide it, right? You can't just do that. It's the end of I would be jumping through. No, sit with me. I'll spend 3 hours. I won't eat. We'll sit together and we'll just burn this into your skull. That's what I would do. But Joel, I can't imagine it. The damage is so great, and you have the time. You can just burn it into her skull anyway. Without it, you could do it. So, Chris says, so is RFK Jr. still in the ballot? In many states, he is. I don't know how many yet. We'll know by next week how many he's in, but he will be in many states. He will. Not all of them, but he will. So yes. Larry the Red Nose Libertarian. I sneeze too, Pete. I know you think that I'm perfect, but I also get sick sometimes and have to sneeze. I do. It does happen. I know you're like, wait a minute. No way. But yeah. Stacey Joe says, thank you, Mr. Sharpe, for sharing all of your information and intelligence. Oh, thank you so much. I try my best. Yes, I try my best to keep giving it. Yes, absolutely. All right. Matt says, I'm with Ryan. Now we don't even feel good about Bobby getting 5%. Still voting for him, though. That's all right. I'm glad you guys are saying this because I know some of you are thinking, well, she didn't move me or he didn't move me. That wasn't the goal. If that makes any sense. That wasn't the goal. This is going to be, sadly, this is going to be an election decided by about 2 percentage points in 7 states. If you do not live in one of those 7 states, your vote does not matter. That sounds horrible. I know, but it's true, right? Have any of you ever seen, I'll walk down one more tangent. Are any of you actually fans of the old original Star Trek from the 60s? If you are a fan with Captain Kirk and Mr. Spock, if any of you are fans of that or have watched it in the past, you may know what I'm talking about. If you care, Google Star Trek TOS, the original series. Star Trek, you'll see all the characters and stuff there. It's from many years ago. I watched it when I was a kid, and I loved it. It was one of my favorite shows as a kid. I still like the show now. I still like it, but I loved it when I was a kid. So in any case, one of the episodes, and if you like it, you'll remember this one. One of the episodes, an alien comes onto the spaceship, and an alien goes onto a Klingon ship. And if you don't know, Klingons are the bad guys in Star Trek. An alien goes on the bad guy ship and disables the ship, and then sends out a distress code. So the ship is disabled and it's distressed. The Enterprise, the good guy ship, comes by, sees the distress code, and says, okay, we'll take you people on. We're not going to leave you out, even though you're bad guys. We're still humane. And brings on 24 Klingons. They come onto the ship. Then the alien comes with them. The alien then locks down the ship to where there's only 24 of the Federation people, the good guys. So there's 24 good guys and 24 bad guys together. Everyone else is locked down. The ship is taken over and is rocketing out into the middle of nowhere in space. And these two people have to fight each other. And the alien turns all of the weapons, the space weapons, into like swords and knives. So they have to fight brutally with swords and knives. And when anyone's cut or hurt, the alien heals them. So you don't even die. Like they stab you in the heart and like your heart grows back like that. It's sci-fi, obviously, right? So it all happens. Why? Why would they all be fighting? Why would this? The alien, we found out later, the alien actually feeds off of negative emotion. It eats the negative emotions. So it basically created a farm. The alien created a farm for itself. So it makes a ship that's going out into space with two groups of people who hate each other. They're both bad guy, good guy, right? And swords, so they can fight forever. And he heals them, so they never die. So they just keep fighting and hating each other. And the aliens eating all the negative energy. That's literally our system. And that episode came out in 1967. Yes. That episode came out about 60 years ago. Yeah. That is our system today. Our system eats the negative emotion, eats the fear. It's a farm. And we're just fighting each other. Do you notice that almost always, every single year, it's almost 50-50? So no one can actually ever really win. We just keep fighting. I know I just made this Star Trek, didn't I? I showed my geekness, didn't I? I did show my geekness. It's true. I did show my geekness right there. Yes. Joan says the debate proved neither candidates qualified to be president. Yeah, there we go. Ryan says, who needs a master's degree in history or political science when you have the Sharpe Way with Larry Sharpe? Oh, that was so sweet. Thank you for that. I do appreciate that. Yes. I try to give you interesting stories that I remember, things like that. I try to make it interesting. So yes. Matt says, I have ADHD. My special ability is having a tornado in my head. I like that. That's kind of cool. I do like that. Yes. All righty. Pigarel says, what level of ADHD am I on? That's a good question. I got to check that one out. I think only about 2. Think about 2. You're not there. You're not like a 10th level. You're like a 2. You're kind of low. You're on your way. You're on your way. You're on your way. Yes. All righty. Chad says, how have I been following you for years and had not known about this synesthesia? I don't plan these things, Chad. I just bring them up when they come up. But people wonder why I'm very good at history, like why I'm able to go through. Because in my head, I see it as stairs and I can click them together almost like Legos. So I can figure out where things are in my head much easier than most people because I have this synesthesia thing. My daughter has it for numbers and letters, symbols. She's for symbols. I have it for time. I don't know why that works. I don't know why it is. It's a thing. So yes, if you check synesthesia, it's a real thing. Many people in synesthesia are very good at mapping. I was a surveyor in the Marine Corps. Perfect. If you have synesthesia for some reason, I don't know why this is true. It's very common. You know where you are on the planet. This seems very, I know you think I'm nuts, but you can read about it. People, when I was a kid, probably I was 9 or 10, I knew where I was in the globe. Like I physically knew, I can't tell you how, I just knew, oh no, that's where I am. Like I knew, I could look at a globe, that's where I am. I knew where I was in the globe. I don't know why. It's very weird. Anyway, the thing that comes up, very, very weird. Ryan says, Chase did indeed get more votes last night. Yeah. Yes. So Matt thinks I'm wrong. He says, is the gamble high? I mean, the Dems are blatantly weaponizing everything and openly censoring people. I wouldn't put it past them. Yes, but right here's the piece, Matt. They aren't officially doing that. They're having other people do it. They can blame others, right? Oh, it's Elon Musk. Oh, it's blah blah blah. Oh, it's Facebook. It's not us. Oh, it's misinformation, right? They've got an excuse or a level of distance they can do. Her putting that in her ear, you're going to say she didn't know and someone gave her earrings as a gift? Ooh, it just seems like a lot. I don't know. It seems like a lot. It seems there's no way around it, though. Yes. Peace Logic says, do the tribbles in Star Trek represent our migration issues? It's not bad. If you notice, it isn't bad because the Except in the end, the Tribbles become the good guys, right? In the end, they become the good guys. For those of you who remember the Trouble with Tribbles piece, Tribbles are like almost like, I guess, like space mice, maybe like that. They reproduce very quickly and they eat things. And in the show, yes, I remember every episode. I'm that much of a Star Trek geek. I remember every episode. Yes, I do. In that episode, the Tribbles get caught on a space station and they start multiplying. Well, the space station is shipping a bunch of grain to this planet. They wind up eating all the grain because they're like space mice. Well, they all die. Well, why'd they all die? The grain was poisoned. Why? By the evil Klingons, who were the bad guys, who were trying to poison this planet. So they actually became the good guys in the end, and they all died as martyrs. So Tribbles die as martyrs. Do we want our migrants to do that? I don't think so. I don't think that. No, I do not think I don't think our migrants are martyred space mice. I'm gonna go with no with that one. Just my view. So yes, I know all of them. It's pretty bad, I know. Yes. All righty. Ryan says her saying that people left his rallies early really got under his skin. It did. Like it really did. I'm surprised how much that it really did. Yes. So Khalid says, live long and prosper. Yes, brother. Live long and prosper. Absolutely. Ryan. Yes, absolutely. 100%. Yes. Roy says, Larry seems because, to paraphrase a prior joke, he's allergic to bull. Oh, I like that. It was good. Yes. All righty. See if I can grab here. The Anti-Corporate says they were an analog to Russians. The Tribbles? Oh, you mean the Klingons? Yes, the Klingons were an analog to the Soviet Union. Yes, that's true, right? There was another episode where the Klingons have to arm. Yes, it was basically like Vietnam. Yes, it was. The Klingons have to arm one side of this planet while the Federation arms the other side of the planet, and they have to have a balance of power so no one can fight. And they were literally trying to validate arming people so that there won't be war. Yes. Yeah, a lot of that. Absolutely. Joel says they laughed him away to beat. That's correct. You remember, Joel. You're the best. That's correct. They actually, to get rid of the alien on that show, the show when they were the bad guys were there, to get rid of the alien, they stopped fighting. They dropped their weapons down and started laughing at him. They laughed at the alien left. That's how they got out. So yes. So Joe says, I could never get into TOS, original series, DS9, VOY, SNW, and ENT were good. You know what? Maybe because I'm old school. For those of you who like Star Trek, those are all the Star Trek episodes. I liked TOS and DS9. The rest, I was like, I actually wasn't into the other ones that much at all. The Next Generation was Voyager was I wasn't into all of them. I liked DS9, and I'll tell you why. For those of you who like this stuff, I'll tell you why I liked it. I liked those two because those two were serious and political, and there was a ongoing stream that mattered. And they were a ship of war. It was a warship. The Next Generation was like a science ship or something, and so was Voyager. They were like science ships. It was okay, but wasn't my thing. So anyway, just my view. So Ryan says Spock was always saving Captain Kirk's butt, but due to Kirk's always last after ladies who wanted to harm that. No. Okay, hold on. Let me give you what Star Trek is the original for many of these things. Remember this, guys. If you ever watch the original series, you will see this in many of them. Captain Kirk is the leader. He's the senior guy, and he's charismatic. But here's what I talked about earlier. If you remember, I spoke about this. All humans, and to be successful, must understand we are both logical and emotional. Both logical and emotional, both. And together is where you make greatness. Spock was the logical side, and McCoy was the emotional side. Together, it's Harry Potter, right? Hermione's the logical side. What's the redhead kid? He's like the emotional side. Together, they make Harry Potter great, right? Logic and emotion together make you great. You have to be able to empathy and power, empathy and strength, both, right? Charisma is literally the definition of charisma is sharing your power. It is wealth plus warmth. Wealth. It is power plus warmth. Strength plus warmth is charisma. And that's how Captain Kirk was saved by both of them. And that was the issue. You look at all of the great heroes. They have two. They have a logical guy or gal, and they have an emotional guy or gal, and then he's in the middle or she's in the middle. Works constantly. You see, that's the trope, and it works. So yes. So anyway, level up with Larry. I like that. Matt, geeks are now Larry. Now everyone plays D&D. I miss nerdy stuff. Yeah, I'm a big D&D player. I know all the D&D stuff, all of it. I played like there's no tomorrow. I played when I was a kid. I played in high school. I had the original Gary Gygax books. I'm one of the best dungeon masters there are on the planet. Yes, that's hubris. I don't care. It's true. I've literally I have all the books, like right there. I have all of them. I can bust it out right now. Hold on. I'm gonna show you something that may make you laugh. Hold on. You're gonna love this, Matt. You're gonna love this. Hold on. Yes, that's what I have. 2 20-sided dice. I just proved my geek status. I also used to play the card game Magic the Gathering back in the 90s. So even that one. And I actually won a tournament. I won a Black Mox. What was it called? Yeah, Black Mox, yeah. I won that when I won a tournament. They actually changed the rule. They changed the rule. The Wizards of the Coast changed the rule in the 90s because of my deck that won. They changed the rule because of me. True story. So yes, I was a geek then. I'm still a geek now, but still nerdy. But I do this too. Anyway, so yes. So now some of you guys be like, well, Larry, I didn't know this. You're really geeky. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yes. All right. Ryan says politics with history and Star Trek. I'm hooked. All right. We're good to go. There we go. Synesthesia says yes. Another thing I need to research now. There we go. Yes. Yes. Jesus, in the end, they died. Yes. They were martyrs for us. Yes. Space Mice is my new band name. That would work. They were, right? They were space, right? Yeah, absolutely. Yep. All righty. Let's see here. And grab some more of these. All right. Ryan, thank you for the $5. I appreciate the super chat. Drunk me said that Trump won. Sober me says that Kamala came ahead on points. Always trust your gut to rewatch something to get a better perspective. Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. I think that's absolutely true. You want to try, if you think it's important, the second time's not a bad idea. Ryan says, I'm more of a Next Generation and Deep Space Nine kind of guy. Spock is my all-time favorite character. Agreed. I never got the Next Generation. You know why I think I didn't get Next Generation? I was in the Marine Corps during most of the Next Generation. And that wasn't my thing. I was thinking about other stuff. It wasn't, I was in the Marine Corps during that. So I got out and Deep Space Nine was there. And that's why I think I got more to Deep Space Nine than anything else. So yeah, I think I think that's the issue. So yes. All right. Peace Logic says, okay, to be clear, I don't think immigrants are space nice. I thought you'd enjoy that one, Dean. I thought you would enjoy that one. Yes. Nice analysis, though. I love my fellow men and women. Yeah. It's kind of true, right? It was kind of true. Yes. Joe says, I liked the Next Generation growing up, but I can't watch it now. This was mostly terrible. I didn't enjoy any of that after that. I didn't. Matt says, never gotten the original series, but I liked and watched all the rest of the shows and the movies, including the newer ones. Okay, if you're a Star Trek fan, if you're an actual Star Trek fan, and you at all were interested in all of them, like if you're interested in all of them, not like I just like one. If you're an overall Star Trek fan, here is how you know. What was the best Star Trek movie? Number one Star Trek movie. What was the best Star Trek movie? That's it. That's the issue. I would ask that question. So the Anti-Corporate says, I still prefer AD&D second edition. That is the best. By the way, that is the best edition. You are correct. That is the best edition, hands down. Everything after that, for those of you who play, I don't know why I'm going on this freaking road. You guys try to take me down all kind of roads. Anything after second edition was watered down. Why? Because Wizards of the Coast bought TSR. Some of you don't know that. Wizards of the Coast, the people who made the card game, bought TSR. TSR made the original D&D. Once that happened, they watered it down for the masses. D&D basic edition and then the advanced and then second edition were made for geeks who enjoyed reading and wanted to be part of something. Then Wizards of the Coast bought it and they watered it all down. And since then, it's been watered down. So you are correct. You saw the difference. You might not have known that's why it happened. The company's changed. I knew a bunch. I dated a chick who worked at Wizards of the Coast. That's how I know. So yes, that's how I know. So yes, back in the day when I was dating chicks. Yes, I dated a chick who was there. So that, yes, there we go. All righty. Let's hear. Pingham says, does anybody here play Root? I don't know. No, I don't. Don't know. Yes, I hear dice. Correct. Yes. Juan, how are you, sir? DS9 is the best. I enjoy DS9. Outside of the original series, it's my favorite. I think Cisco was an amazing captain. I thought he was just great. The only Star Trek show that actually had episodes where capitalism was portrayed in a positive light. There we go. Seasons 7, episode Treachery, Faith, and the Great River. There we go. She says, and a Dungeon Master. It's true. It's true. I am. It's true. I actually, believe it or not, there used to be a magazine called Dungeon Magazine, and I submitted my modules to Dungeon Magazine to see if I could actually get them published. Never got published. That kind of sucked. So yeah, but I did do that. And I still have modules eventually that I wrote from 1984, 1985. I still have them. Still have pictures, the whole deal, the whole thing. I used to do my own stuff all the time, always. So yeah. Gene says, I play D&D online with my sons. I probably should. I played with my kids a while ago. I haven't done it in a long time. So yes. Tracy Like says, I still have every single Magic card from the 90s in a few shoe boxes. From the editions from 3rd edition on until around, I forgot what the names of those. I haven't collected in probably 20 years. It's been a long time since I collected. I had 4 of everything because you only have 4. I had 4. I used to buy collections. I bought an entire collection for $1,100. Bought the entire thing. $1,100. Bought it all. I had tons of stuff. My collection is worth $1 gazillion. I don't know how much it costs. I have like 3rd edition. I have cards from the 90s. All of them. Yes. I can. Yeah. Tons of them. So I know what you're talking about. I still don't play them anymore. I'll give them to my kids, I guess. Maybe my daughters will sell them or something if they want to play. I mean, I still have like decks and stuff. I still have stuff together. So yeah, we'll see. Anyway, Mox Jet. Thank you. That's what it is. The Black Mox is I have an original Mox Jet. I won it actually in a tournament. And I won it with a, believe it or not, I won it with a white-black combo deck that had Pestilence and protection from black creatures. That is how I won that tournament, the entire tournament that way. Yes. And then I played in a big-time tournament years later and got my ass kicked like 2nd round. Just trashed. I didn't play for like a year or 2, and I lost. I was terrible. I was like, I'll just run tournaments now. It's got my ass kicked. That kind of game, if you're not in it, you're not in it. Like, you got to be in it. And when I was in it, I was good. And when I got out of it, I got my ass kicked 2nd round. Couldn't even make it past 2nd round. So yes. Anyway. Yes, that is the right answer. The Wrath of Khan. Every other answer is incorrect. Thank you for that. The best Star Trek movie is without question The Wrath of Khan. Anything else you say is incorrect. Gene Undiscovered Country was a good one. I enjoyed that one. Not the best. The Voyage Home, not bad. Not the best. Wrath of Khan was the best. Anticorpus, you are correct. That is the best. 100%. Yes. Without question. Not even close. Anyway, sorry. Matt says, so you're telling me you're into the Dragonlance books. No, I have all of the modules. Like, I've gone through all the modules. So I've taken characters through all the modules, which kind of follow the books. So I've done that, but I was never into the books. The books were okay to me. Any type of medieval book that I enjoy, it needs to be very much realistic with hardly any magic. The reason why whenever I would Dungeon Master, I'd always play with low magic. If you have a lot of magic in your campaign, your campaign will be broken at one point. You can't have that much magic in a D&D campaign. You'll break it because everything becomes magical. Everything's magical. So the average person becomes useless. You can't fight an orc. An orc is nothing. Everything is destroyed. So you have to have light magic in everything you do if you want to have a long one. You can't also have extra powerful classes. I literally wrote this. I'm geeking out. You guys are going to be kicking me out here. When I was in college, I realized that I couldn't do anything political because my teachers were all hardcore lefties and would be mad at me. So I did most of my writing when I was in college on Dungeons and Dragons because they didn't know what it was. So they couldn't judge me on it. So one of my essays that I wrote was on why you should not allow a half ogre class to be a race, I should say, a half ogre race to be in your campaign. I got an A on that one. When you're a dungeon master, you know what you're doing. So I literally did that. So yes. So when I do that, I always try to make sure Dragonlance has a lot of magic. Like, things are magical. Heavy magic, you can't keep a campaign very long. You can do short time, but eventually everyone's got 45,000 magic weapons. Everyone's super powerful. Everyone's going to become godlike. I want no one to be godlike. I want you to be a regular person and use your intellect to move through things. So yes. Rick says stupid fun. That's true. It's true. Yes. Anyway, I hope that was interesting. You play it online too. Okay, maybe I should start. Maybe I should. Yes. Ryan says Cisco was one of my favorite Star Trek captains of all time. I agree. Kirk and him are great. Joel says no soundbots alive. He'd be mad right now. Mike does a Saturday show now on Sci-Fi. He does it right now. Picker Barrel says I want to start a D&D campaign. I have run many of them. Here's a rule: whenever you play, do not play with more than 6 player characters. Never more than 6. Once you go past 6, it becomes too difficult. So you never want to go past 6. That's kind of the highest you want to do. So 6. Riot says, are you running for New York in 26? I hope to. I really do want to. I want to try it. Absolutely. I do want to try. Guys, I know I went off topic, but please do me a favor. I know some of you don't like it. Click the like button. If you like any of these things, click that button that is like. I ask you because it does matter. Please do so. Please do so. Whatever you can, click the button as like. If you can share it, please share it. We're talking about Dungeons and Dragons and stuff. That's pretty cool, right? That's pretty cool. Yes, that is good. Matt says, I love the Dragonlance models, Tannis and the boys. Yeah, I'm not against them. I just think when you're doing Dungeons and Dragons, you want to have less magic, right? It's my personal view. Some people love it. I really want to do, I want to have less magic. I think it makes a stronger campaign over time. And I want to grow the campaign over time. If you have too much magic, it begins to break your world. It doesn't work well. I used to do a thing where I would always say, that the gods used to actually exist on the ground in the prime material plane, and then they left, and that was 10,000 years ago. That's how I start my campaigns usually. So the year would be 10,000 PE, 10,000 post Exodus. So that would be the year. So it was 10,000 years before the gods walked the earth. Now they don't walk the earth anymore. They're out someplace else. With that, there's less magic. Well, what happened is when the gods left, humans tried to become gods. This is my storyline I always go when they try to become gods, and they became godlike. That's when you have the people you've heard of Vecna and all those guys. They try to become godlike. And that destroyed so much of the world. They destroyed each other. Horrible things happened when they all try to become godlike. And because of that, people don't like magic enough that much because they were afraid they would become godlike and destroy things. So that was my logic in creating a world that was not heavily magic, because it had been so destructive and destroyed everyone. People didn't want it anymore. I have really gone down a road. Guys, I want to thank you so much for the road that I went down. I appreciate all the time you guys gave me tonight. Please like and comment. It does matter. If you can become a member, it does matter. Subscribe if you haven't already. I will be on again tomorrow night around 7 p.m. I will see you all very soon.